Вітаю. Вітаю.
So I'm pleased to welcome everyone. I'm pleased to welcome everyone. Let us start. So I hope that you can hear us well, and we're about to start. So dear ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for all of us to welcome you at our conference on the Organic Day in Ukraine. My name is Olena Daineko. I am the head of the Organic Initiative NGO, and I'm pleased to welcome you here at this Organic Day in Ukraine conference that is a part of celebrating the Organics Day and Organic Months of the European Union. And this is the tradition that we have borrowed from the European Union. And it's important for Ukraine to also celebrate the Organic Day together with the support from our colleagues from the European Union. And thus, we are once again acknowledging our way, our path, our journey towards the new Green Deal and the European Union. We're really grateful for the organizing of this conference at the Ministry of Agriculture of Ukraine and the Union and the Organic Initiative. I really wanted to also express our gratitude to our donors. This event has been organized with the support of the Swiss Confederation in the framework of the programs from the Swiss Confederation of supporting the programs with high added value in Ukraine, and with the help of the Organic Trade for the Development in the Eastern Europe T4D projects. We're also grateful to our donors, the Ukrainian-German collaboration in the organic agriculture, the co-op project. Thank you very much for your support. We also have among the other organizers with the institutional and political reforms of the small farms in Ukraine. That was the program for the European Union. Thank you very much for your support. Let us start with the technical disclaimers. You all are aware that our event is going to be held in the mixed format, both online and offline. We do have both Ukrainian speaking and English speaking speakers in the agenda, so please make sure that you will take the headsets if you are here with us physically. And if you would like to listen to the interpretation in the Zoom, please make sure that you will choose the corresponding language channel at the settings bar in Zoom. So please make sure that you will choose either English or Ukrainian channel, depending on what language is the most comfortable for you. Thank you very much. That's all from my part and technical disclaimers. I wish all of us the productive conference, and I would like to introduce you with our first speakers in the first block. Please welcome Taras Vysotsky, the first Deputy of Minister of Agriculture Policy and Food Products of Ukraine. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Olana. Thank you very much. I'm pleased to congratulate you with our double organic day. So the first block is just our welcoming speeches. So I'm not going to take half an hour of your time with that. So first of all, I really would like to welcome everyone and congratulate everyone with this celebration. Let us put it this way. So this year, we can already see some of the practical implementations of the organic days. This year, this is the first organic day when we have already institution that has been certified according to the Ukrainian legislation based on the European legislation. We have a number of registers from the in our registers, numbers of operators that work in organic sector. So that means that we can celebrate not only the European Organic Day, because according to the European legislation, we had institutions and farms certified before, but right now we already have the certified actors according to the Ukrainian legislations. And some people have already said, like, how we can also be certified and be labeled with that. Please just be patient, go through the procedure till the end, and you will definitely going to be acknowledged by that. I wanted to thank all of you, the organic producers, the certification body, the associations, the projects that have been working in this sector, that have been I can't even imagine how many years it had taken, because it have been supported by the Swiss Confederation alone for around 20 years. So it has been a very long way for the development of the sector that we have taken. Plus, all of the different force majeures that we have faced, and this is the full-scale war, it hasn't stopped the sector from developing. And we understand that we have already our organic sector standing on both feet. So thank you very much for keep on moving forward. Thank you very much to our partners for supporting us. our unchangeable and loyal partner, the Swiss Confederation, that has been supporting this direction of our development. Thank you very much for that. You know, people say that when you're married for quite a long time with people and countries, then that it's going to last for lives. I think that our collaboration with Switzerland is going to last for life for sure. Maybe not in a financial support, but definitely in experience exchange that will definitely be for life. And also the European Commission that has supported us already, and we have discussed that already in the morning, that organics is one of the directions that we can be proud of if we will take a look at the European integration project overall and understanding that there is a tremendous work that has to be done. If you remember, 40% of all the synchronization that has to be done according to the association agreement is for the agricultural sector. So the organic agriculture has already almost completed all of the synchronization they need to do. And we had all of the support from the European Union-led projects in that. So thank you very much for that. I also wanted to thank our partner, the Office for the Exports Development and Entrepreneurship, and of course, 90% of exports from Ukraine. That's very good. But let us not decrease the exports, but let us develop the internal market, the domestic market of organic products as well, increasing our volumes and increasing our scales. But still, thank you very much for your constant support. And I really wanted to express my gratitude to the armed forces of Ukraine, all of the people that are giving us this opportunity to come here together in Kiev under the framework of the full-scale war and to be calm, because the armed forces of Ukraine, they're really giving us they're reassuring us about the victory that is going to come, and we're really grateful to them for that. So we hope that our day will be calm, our day will be with no irate alarms, and we will have the opportunity to provide the high quality experience exchange and to experience the positive and festive as much as it is possible right now emotions, so that we would be charged for continuous development in our sector and continue in developing our country. Glory to Ukraine. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Taras. And the next speaker that I would like to pass the floor to, please welcome Mr. Christian Hell, the head of the agricultural sector and the representatives of the European Union in Ukraine. Please, Christian.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody. Dear Deputy Minister, thank you very much for your very nice words on the occasion of the Organic Day in Ukraine. I give a little bit of time to the people to wear their headset, because unfortunately after 7 years here, I still don't speak a word of Ukrainian, but okay, I was busy with many other things. So unfortunately, I'm extremely honored to participate to this Organic Day in Ukraine this morning. And I understand that my colleagues from Brussels and DG Agri could not join us today because of other commitments, notably of which the Organic Day in the European Union. But I'm pleased to be able basically to have these brief introductory remarks on behalf of the EU delegation to Ukraine. And I wanted to thank the organizers, the embassy, of course, of the Swiss Confederation, the Ministry of Agrarian Policy and Food, the Swiss and German project in support of the organic sector in Ukraine, to basically for their steady efforts over the past years to bring the organic sector in Ukraine at the stage it is. You know that for the European Union, basically, organic farming plays an important role in developing a sustainable food system that is of low environmental impact. And this is something that Ukraine has taken an exactly very similar path, as explained by Taras briefly, notably by adopting the legislation that is in force in the European Union, and the progress have been at the same time very steady and very, very rapid. because Ukraine has adopted basically the legislation of the European Union through the framework law on organic production, but also all the necessary bylaws in order to implement the legislation that we have in the European Union, thereby basically preparing an equivalent system than the one that we have in the European Union. And of course, now you even have, after so many years, the logo and the certification body for the products to be able to bear basically both accreditation, which is a very important step ahead. The work has not stopped there. You know that in the European Union we have a new legislation that entered into force, and thanks to the enthusiasm and the commitment of the Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food, we already have started to work on the approximation of the new legislation. I say approximation, I should change my vocabulary, because at this stage of history of Ukraine, after having been granted basically the candidate status in June 2022, we are talking now about adoption. That means full adoption of EU legislation without any margin of maneuver anymore. This is the same legislation that we have in the European Union should be applicable in Ukraine, without basically any deviance anymore. And that's very important. And I know that through the working group that has been established with the chairmanship of Taras Vysotsky, I think you are on the right path in order to make sure that the law is adopted 2024, I believe, and then we work on the bylaws, and that by the end of next year we are right at the same level. Now, the European Union and its assistance in the organic sector is only a very small fraction of what we do in Ukraine in the agriculture and rural development sector. We support the working group in the legislation through our EU for Small Farm project, which everybody knows as under the acronym of IPRA. Or IPSA, but basically the European Union has a strategy that is wider than this. We believe that at this stage of Ukraine's history, the challenge ahead are really to prepare the accession of Ukraine to the European Union. So that's the reason why for the past year we have been supporting institutions of Ukraine to strengthen themselves in several sectors: sanitary, phytosanitary, agriculture, but also fisheries and the land reform, of course. And this is something that is going to continue for the years to come, with even an acceleration of the strengthening and the adoption of the legislation and increase of the capacity. However, the European Union also believes that the resilience of farms has to be supported. We have to be extremely proud of agricultural producers in Ukraine that operate under very difficult conditions at the time being, not only for the production, but also for the logistics and for the search for markets. So I think we have organic producers and other producers deserves our support, and that's the reason why in the past 3 years the European Union has accelerated the establishment of financial assistance schemes that are basically aligned with the schemes that we have in support of our own producers throughout the European Union. We have been launched last year for the first time ever in the history of Ukraine, what we call the Production Support Grant Scheme, which is a direct payment scheme, exactly the same than the one that we have in the European Union, and that allowed basically to channel 50 million euros to 30,000 farmers. I don't have the figure about how many organic producers have benefited from this assistance, but I hope that there are some that have been assisted. There are other schemes that are basically established. We have an investment matching grant scheme that has to be basically slowly increased. At the time being, it is meant at 6 million euros, but we hope that in the coming months and years it will increase. It aims at basically providing the possibilities for especially smaller farms to invest in their production, in their marketing and the processing of the products. We have also the partial credit guarantee scheme that we are talking about for years now, and that will eventually be fully established this year and will launch its operation next year, which will allow basically to secure loans provided by partner banks to farmers of less than 500 hectares for investment purpose, but also acquisition of land. Eventually, I wanted to finish with what is happening at the time being. You may have heard about the new scheme the European Union is putting in place, which we call the Ukrainian facility. It is a specific financial facility that will support Ukraine for the coming 4 years. In the past, Ukraine was, like other countries, supported through an investment facility that is shared by all the countries around the world. But due to the specific situation of Ukraine, we are establishing now a Ukrainian facility, and the support is going to be regulated through what we call a Ukrainian plan that is based on 3 pillars. The first pillar is dedicated at it's financed with 50 billion in theory. So normally the financing should be secured by the end of the year. A first pillar for macro financial assistance to basically compensate for the budget gap of Ukraine. A second pillar will be meant for investments, notably large investments in larger establishment. And the third pillar will be dedicated to continue to support Ukraine in implementing the necessary reforms that have to be implemented before Ukraine can access the European Union. As I've told to Taras 5 minutes ago, the work has been tremendous in the organic sector. There are plenty of other sectors, of course, in agriculture and rural development, and the path will be arduous, but I believe in the commitment of the government of Ukraine to follow this very difficult path, and I trust in the commitment of people like Taras, who will support Ukraine as much as possible. I will conclude here. Thank you very much for your kind assistance, for your kind attention, and I wish you a very pleasant and fruitful event. I hope that you will have nice discussions, that you will be able to take stock of the development of the sector today, and that you will agree on the next steps to follow. Thank you very much again for your attention.
Дуже дякуємо, Крістіан.
Thank you very much, Christian. And I would like to introduce you with our next speaker. Please welcome Viktor Shutkevich, the Deputy of Head for Collaboration from the Embassy of Switzerland to Ukraine. Good morning. Good morning. I'm pleased to welcome everyone on behalf of the Embassy of Switzerland to Ukraine. Thank you very much, Elena, for your invitation. It's a pleasure for me once again to be here. And as Taras has said, that's almost a marriage between Switzerland and the organic sector of Ukraine. And we'll continuing being a part of this marriage because we're going to have the new projects, upcoming projects. I'm going to give you more details about that later on. But while we have been waiting for this meeting to start in the corridor, you know, I've said that the garden that my parents managed for 40 years ago, I have no idea that you need to use any kind of chemicals to treat it. Because my father never did that, and it was really tasty apples and plums. And when I've grown up and I've tried to grow the same garden, I wasn't able to grow it without using the chemical fertilizers or other crop protection measures, because I understand how labor intensive that is, because the current plants, they are not going to be they're not using they're not protected, they're not adapted to that. And I always have been fascinated by the organic sector because you're the one who holding the skies, and I'm really grateful for your work even in these hard times. I would like to tell you more about the support of the Swiss Confederation to the organic sector. represented by two big projects of technical support. There is a team of two teams here. It's Igor Kravchenko, they are representing Table, and we have Katarina Shore, they are representing another program project of our technical support. I think that you all know perfectly well. I will just tell shortly that UFTP project Feeble from September this year, we have started the new phase, new stage, and for the next 3-4 years, this team will be with you at least for the next 3-4 years, and it will be helping more and more focusing on the development of trade. But the other project that is now on the process of estimation, and I'm pretty sure that that will be the prolongation because it has the specific element that we haven't done before. It is co-financing of projects of with donors' money and business money. We tried before the war to launch, to implement such projects, but they were pretty successful. Of course, now we have some challenges, but I hope that it still has future because there are businesses, and I'm pretty sure that there are businesses who are ready to co-finance such projects. And now we understand that rebuilding of Ukraine is absolutely impossible only with the help of donors' money, yes, our partners with development. But we need lots of investments, lots of funds from business. That's why this component, as we call it, public-private partnership, we will develop it and we will look for that business who's ready to co-finance. Maybe we will have some kind of announcement at the end, and maybe we will have one more program of technical support. There was appeal of the Ministry of Economy of Ukraine. There will be a program SIPO. I hope that some of you still remember it. We returned it. There were even some certain pavilions of SIPO that supported organic producers at such fairs, organic fairs. This year, SIPO will be working in a little bit different way in Ukraine. It will not be directly help to producers, but it will be support of business associations that represent the sector. That's why it is extremely important to have a cooperation with the Office of Support of Entrepreneurship and Export. But I think it's for the next 6 or 7 years will be another program that will be helping with export. We are staying with you. I hope that we have fruitful meeting today, and I'm looking forward to next speeches because I understand that the dynamics now is really hectic. The things that we could do before us, could dream of about as a accreditation logo that we eventually have, all those things are now happening right now at the really fast pace. I would like to welcome Ministry of Agrarian Economy with the speed, with the space. So let's keep on good work. Thank you.
Так, чути мене? Дякую. У нас зараз онлайн привітання.
Now we have our online speech. Do we have the presentation ready? Yes, so I would like to introduce our online speaker, representative of our donor, with support of whom we are having this event. I'm giving the floor to Alexander Kalibarda. It is a national expert of the project German-Ukrainian Cooperation in Organic Agriculture. Alexander, the presentation is getting ready. Alexander, we can hear you. Hello. Yes, hello, good morning. Good morning, dear colleagues. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude for the possibility to speak today, and I also would like to welcome all participants of the conference and all organic society with our Organic Day. I hope that this tradition of commemorating this day will become even stronger and only stronger, and maybe in the nearest future, Ukrainian organic sector will be celebrating Organic Day as already as a part of European community. As a welcoming speech, my task today is to talk in a nutshell about support and aid to Ukrainian organic sector from the side of Germany. And let me do this. I will try to be concise and just mention main positions. The project German-Ukrainian cooperation in agriculture has been working from 2016, and
It focuses on implementing agricultural legislation, spreading information and knowledge about organic sector and development of such competences, as well as consolidation of professional dialogue in the sector, for example, through such support of such events as our today's conference. The next slide, please. And one more. Just several words about main directions of support of organic sector of Ukraine from the side of our project. As I have already mentioned, we have help in implementation of organic law. And here I would like to focus on certain topics. First of all, it's the legislation, and it is a great pleasure for us to mention that this opportunity to make this transitional period shorter that is taking place right now till the end of this year, this opportunity to make this transitional period shorter for the producers of organic produce was initiated by our project, and then later it was supported by other partners and became part of the law. It is really important. Taras Mikolayevich was talking about amount of fully organic operators, Ukrainian operators. I today looked at the register. There are 45 of them already, and it's really great achievement in such difficult conditions. I would like to say that we provided help in accrediting the first body of certification. It is not a simple task, but it is pretty it happened pretty fast this year. Last year we had some delays, but this year it happened really fast. And of course, help in learning. While we are having this conference right now, the representatives of SSUFSCP already ready to start their training. And the second direction is that our project is conducting different events of supporting of producers of organic produce. I will talk about them on the next slide. Separately is development of organic platform of knowledge, and I will also have a very short slide about that further. We are facilitating export. We are trying to do our best for the development of internal market, and we take part in professional dialogue in the sector. We help with the coordination, consolidation of efforts of the main participants and members. Next slide, please. I would like to mention here two things of supporting organic certified operators in Ukraine. These are two programs that are being implemented this year. The first one is partly compensation of the cost of organic certification. We are pleased to say that 115 producers from the whole Ukraine gained financing. This financing was up to 1,000 euro to each of them, and the general amount of those funds is 83,000 euro. We hope that for many of them it was useful. And the second program I wanted to talk about is procurement buying of very powerful generators for Ukrainian organic operators in 9 regions. Not in all regions, this program is being financed but it is administered by FAO in some regions, but by our initiative, already 11 operators have received such operators, and 14 more are still in the process of buying them. So we hope that in the nearest future, those generators will be bought and producers will be able to receive them and use them. The next slide, please. Just several words as an example of BFAC. It was very great pleasure for us to work together, and the majority of participants, of members of today's panels, you can see them here on this picture actually, because we had joint events. We helped branch association to finance Ukrainian pavilion, and we conducted a pretty successful event together with our partners from Ministry of Agricultural Policy and with the Office of Development of Entrepreneurship and Export. Separately, I would like to say that it was a great pleasure to see main players of the sector as all of them at one table as speakers, and I think that it was also great for our external audience. The next slide, please. I would like to say to talk a little bit about organic platform of knowledge. Actually, this is this unique unique platform, and it is very useful resource for organics. On this platform, there are more than 500 printed materials and around 200 videos. What differs them from others is they are checked by qualified commission of organic specialists, and there is no information about pseudo-organics, no false information can be found there. So we invite all and everybody to use this platform. You see this address, organicplatform.org. Please visit it, use it, and let's develop it together. The next slide, please, the last one. I would like to express gratitude on behalf of all our projects for this invitation, possibility to have this short presentation. I wish fruitful work to all of us today and safe day. Thank you.
Чутно? Ага. Так, дуже дякую, Олександре.
Thank you, Alexander. Thank you to German-Ukrainian project once again. And now I'm giving the floor to Andriy Remizov, Director of the State Institution Entrepreneurship and Export Promotion Office. Thank you. Hello, dear colleagues, partners, entrepreneurs. I welcome you to our Organic Day. It's really a very important day for Ukrainian organic. And as many speakers have mentioned today, the Rasmussen and our partners, there has been done a lot of actions for this sector to develop. We have seen many companies in this register, and I think that this amount will only grow bigger. We have certain infrastructure, learning centers, and I think that it will promote Ukrainian producers on our local market. But we don't need to forget about upscaling, because as we see, Ukrainian organic product is recognized by the EU, by the EU importers, and people are even more interested with that with every year. When we organize each new exhibition, we see that in the European market, in the Ukrainian market, the interest to Ukrainian producer is getting bigger. There are even some stories of some success stories of companies which took part in BioFac, for example. They started exporting their products to Romania and other countries. There are huge export contracts, and we as an institution, as a state institution, we are responsible for the creation of national pavilions of Ukraine abroad. As of now, unfortunately, state budget is pretty limited, because in our focus we have not only organic sector but also machine building and IT and other sectors. But thanks to our international partners at T4D, FTP, FOAM, and others involved to the development of this sector and core, also we would like to express our gratitude for your support and your help in organizing national pavilions in Ukraine, including in BioFag. And as of now, we will have lots of opportunities. First of all, we are conducting this National Pavilion of Ukraine on one of the exhibition. There will be two pavilions, one for dairy sector and one organic. All of them, there will be organic exhibition in Dubai in December. There is also a pavilion, and the next one is BioFac. And what we see is that this year we have bigger amount of business representatives who would like to take part in such pavilions, but unfortunately our capacity does not let us use, let's say, everybody. That's why we all would like to ask, and I think the donors support this idea, just to increase this component of the development of pavilions, so even more Ukrainian producers can be shown and represented at such exhibitions, because it is really the most effective tool to find new clients. Now concerning analytics, we are working with QFTP very fruitfully and with organic standards concerning the development of our dashboard concerning export of Ukrainian products that is available on DIA Business portal. So if you're interested in export in certain trade groups in certain countries, then you can visit the dashboard. There is a link for that in the this chapter of analytics, and you can see about specific trade groups. So what is exported, where is it exported, and we will just strengthen this tool so companies can have real possibility to analyze tendencies and prospects in the market for their product. And of course, I encourage all producers to cooperate with our office because we will be happy to tell about your success, about your development, both inside the country and abroad. And we will be helpful to highlight any success stories in our Dear Business portal. And also, I would like to express my gratitude once again to our donors, to the Ministry of Agricultural Policy, international experts, everybody who is involved in the development of agricultural sector in Ukraine. We will continue our activity in this direction. We will be happy to make up new ideas that will help our sector to develop. Thank you, everybody.
Так, панове, дуже дякую. Тоді прошу.
Thank you. Yes, Taras, please. Since it will be no longer possible for me to stay here, unfortunately, I have to leave. Marina Kasletska, I think majority of you know her. She will talk on behalf of the ministry, and then later, as we promised, there will be awards, so you all have to stay till the end. And now I would like to again express my gratitude to partners, to European Commission, to Switzerland, to Victor, to Christian. We have constant international cooperation. It is this case when with the help of European Commission, Switzerland and Germany, and of course resilience of Ukrainian and unbreakability of Ukrainian producers and associations, we show how we need to move forward. So thank you, have a nice day, and I will be following the event and looking at nice pictures of the winners. Thanks a lot. Now we have the next block of our today's conference. So please, dear colleagues, thank you for your welcoming speeches.
Я хочу представити
I would like to give the floor to the moderator of our today's block. It is dedicated to the newest data from the organic sector of Ukraine, and I would like to invite the moderator of our new block. It's Serhiy Galashevsky, General Manager of Organic Standard LLC. Hello, everybody. Actually, it is really great that we have such an opportunity to meet physically and online. We have such a hybrid event today. And actually, a renovation of the renewal of such, let's say, physical events will really be grateful for our communication because we haven't seen each other for a very long time. We missed each other. And I represent block of internal market. Of course, we are now in a pretty challenging situation. We have a full-fledged aggression of Russia against Ukraine. And of course, it does not contribute to the very fast development of internal market. Later, the colleagues who I will introduce will show data from this market, but at the same time, I think that we managed to achieve the main thing. We managed to preserve, to maintain this market, to maintain the main amount of key operators, and furthermore, we even managed to implement a new law, and there are lots of certified operators based on Ukrainian legislation. So that's why I represent now. I would like to introduce Marina Kasletska, head of the State Policy Division, Organic Production of the Food Security and Excise Product Directorate of the Department of State Policy in Sanitary and Phytosanitary Measures, Ministry of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine. Pretty big position, but I would like to say very important thing that we have a person who is responsible for organic production, and I think this is the main fact. Please, Marina, the floor is yours.
Доброго дня.
So good morning, and I would like to welcome everyone and congratulate everyone with our today's Organic Day. And I would like to also join all of the great words that have been already voiced out today. This is the second time that Ukraine joins the celebration of the European Organic Day. And we are also acknowledging our past and development to the European Union. And this is going to be the first time that this event is going to be held both online and offline. And for everyone who was been able to join us, has been able to come to us. And I also wanted to thank the organic producers that have taken their time that they have taken their time to come and join us today, because we understand that the organic production right now is the main quality standards. And it just doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you not just have to follow the overall requirements and in the agricultural sector that our producers has decided that they're going to be meeting the requirements of the organic production as well. And we understand that it is an important cause. And I am sure that because it's done with love, then we're managing to do a lot. So I really wanted to thank for fruitful collaboration to all of our partners, because basically the stage that we're currently in and the stage of the development of the organic sector and the legislation on the organic sector, it's all happened because of the tight collaboration between the partners. And you already mentioned all of the long titles of the partnering organizations. I'm not going to be mentioning that as well. And I'm understand that our collaboration is going to continue. There's a lot of work that awaits for us. So, as it already been said, today Ukraine has introduced its own legislation, national legislation for the organic sector. And actually, I would like to get a little back to the very beginning of our event today and to once again emphasize why that is really important for us. And most of you are aware, and a lot of producers have already been working according to the scheme, when the external and international certification bodies and facilities have been certifying the products. And there was a question of what's a step and what way Ukraine would like to take. And most of us know there had been three main ways of getting our products to the European Union. There was the opportunity to use the certification that was issued by the international certification bodies, by also acknowledging the states that the state the registration of the state that might export their products to the European Union. And by the way, this list is going to be losing its force from the 1st of January 2027. And there's also going to be another way how you can use it when we're going to be there also the acknowledgement through the trade agreements. Because Ukraine has now applied our own domestic legislation, we now have this opportunity to use this scheme in time. So we're going to be building the corresponding system of providing the rules for the production and the systems of controls for the production. And thus, Ukraine as a state is going to take the responsibility for this system, on how the system is going to be working. And that is going to be a very big way forward for Ukraine. Because the international certification bodies and in the further on presentation, you're going to see some of the risks that their work can have at the territory of Ukraine. So it's very good that we are choosing a more resilient system right now, introducing Ukrainian certification body. And we would have this two ways through this trade agreement. And already, for example, in the framework of the European Union, when we're going to enter the joint European market, when we're going to build our own system that will correspond to all of the standards of the European Union, we're going to be ready for that because we are moving to this direction. And overall, our consumer, even though the domestic market today is definitely smaller than the amount of the products that we export towards Europe, our domestic market still needs the support of the state and the guarantees of the state that the rights have been granted and will also support the choices, the organic choice that the market makes. So just a little bit talking about the monitoring principles, there is an example that we have received when we have analyzed the information from our certification bodies today, this year, and maybe we can make it less bright for us to be able to see that. Yes, thank you very much. And there was an important option here that one of the certification body has informed us that they have not conducted their activities on the territory of Ukraine due to the military aggression. And I just wanted to take into your attention that those were about the regions that haven't been occupied or they are not located closer to the contact line. But due to that, we have received additional data that there has been the number of certification has decreased. We're talking about, for example, Ternopil and Cherkasy region. So the areas of the organic lands have decreased by 93,000 hectares, and it's about 22 hectares if we will compare to the results of the previous years. So yes, there are certain risks connected to the activities of the foreign certification institutions in Ukraine when we have these force majeure conditions coming. That once again gives us the understanding that Ukraine moves into the right direction in order to build a sustainable and resilient system by creating our own certification body. We have spoken about the legislation, and if we're going to have a brief update on that, then building the policies in organic sector is the main task for the ministry, even though that the Ministry of Agricultural Policy joins the different events in the organic sector, but we can now divide the process into a couple of directions. This process is definitely never ending, and as you have already heard, due to the updating of the legislation of the European Union, there's going to be some of the main notions that are going to stay with us. So there's not going to be some really big changes in the requirements for the producers, but the controlling system is about to change. So first of all, there's going to be the update of the legislations that we have been working on. So about the rules of the production. So that's going to be there according to the regulations 848 and also about the regulations 625 about the controls that are applied to the organic production and organic farming. And that is going to be implemented in Ukrainian legislation as well. Moreover, our market is a live market. Our legislation is just being introduced and being worked on. So there are certain conditions when we can improve the legislation and with its implementation to make some changes that will appear and arise during the implementation of the legislation. Moreover, as in other sectors, there has been a lot of issues about improving our overall legislation according to the framework laws that we have approved. And they're managing the organic sector on the administrative procedures, on the registers that need to be created. And in this, we are also working in this direction. We have already shown this slide multiple times before, and we have emphasized the importance of this slide, especially for the producers. It needs to be clear that the conditions for the market activities are starting from the 1st of July 2024, because you can only be able to sell the product that is certified according to the national legislation. And you can be exporting only the products that is certified according to the European legislation. So as it has already been said, with the help of our transition period applied, we do believe that a lot of producers are going to be they will be able to also sell the products in the domestic markets, and they will complete the certification with a faster procedure. And one of the stages of implementing and introducing the legislations that are currently being developed as well. So the first step that we have taken is, first of all, to have the certification body accredited. Before that, according to the requirements, the Ministry of Agriculture have conducted certain tests, and our inspectors were able to receive the required certifications so that the institution that they're working in was able to pass the accreditation, and the long-awaited event has taken place. It helped us to launch the next stages of implementation, and the organic standard has received its accreditation certificate. And one of the main functions of the ministry in this case is about managing the registers. It is presupposed that there are 3 registers that the ministry manages. So the first register, it has one certification body according to the registration number 001. We do hope that the register of the certification body is going to be bigger, getting bigger, so that we will be able to provide the good market conditions, and we will be able to mitigate the risks connected to the activity and availability of only one certification body. Because the more certification body we have, the more sustainable and resilient the system will be. The second register, all the operators of the organic market. It's all, well, now we have 45 operators registered. As soon as we have the application from the certification body, we'll launch the order of including certain operators into the register. And it is also presupposed that is going to be the register of seeds and planting material. That re-register is going to be fulfilled according to the applications of the producers that would like to sell their organic seeds and organic planting material. But basically, if the register will not include, for example, the seeds or this planting material, then the legislation also presupposes that you might use the non-organic seeds for the production not to stop, but it still has to be untreated. It might be, it has to be, it has not to be treated by the components that are not allowed in the organic production. And speaking about the current legislation, there's also the good practice on the databases that are being applied, and it's a broader practice. And in Ukraine, with time, we're also going to have a register for the animals, organic animals, and aquaculture. The implementation of the legislation, and we have conducted multiple trainings in order to get everyone informed on the new legislation. It was a very active last 6 months, and you can see that there has been many educational activities that have been completed and that has been caused by the 2 important moments. First of all, the appearance of the certification body in our state system, and due to the needed legislation that has been approved towards the control of the certain institutions. We're really grateful for all of our organizers and co-organizers, the state food security service, and our projects are really grateful to the Organic Standard organization, because basically they still keep the leading positions in these trainings. That has prepared very good presentations. They've had really good answers to all of the questions that the participants had. And we all know that our professionals have conducted the first inspections according to the national legislation. So that is why the work that has been completed was really important. And as has already been really outlined by our colleagues from Germany, tomorrow the educational course for the professionals for the state food security services starts in Poland. We're really grateful to our colleagues from Poland and Ukraine. And basically, we do hope that the quality of this education is going to be really high. And also, well, we have already spoken about the national legislation, and as far as we have been moving forward, and the organic production and the control sphere has conducted multiple educational projects there as well. And I just wanted to tell you that our participants also raised the questions during these trainings, and for all of us, we also take all of those trainings results into consideration, because we've also had these questions of what shall we do with, for example, trade that is conducted through internet. This question, for example, and this issue hasn't been regulated properly, and there is no direct requirements from the directive, and there was no clear direct links of how that should be regulated. And we have had this very interesting examples from our colleagues from Poland, and they've told us that this mandate to anonymously buy the product for this control buyer, and they have this specific credit card that they can use for that. But this is definitely a problem for the European Union as well. So we're going to be considering how this issue can be regulated in order for us to be able to protect our customers. And the most important locomotive that we have is our work group that is made of more than 30 participants. We're also including the different projects and couple of institutions of state government. We have our working group working for quite a long period of time. And all of the results that Ukraine has had up till now is made with the help of our collaboration in the framework of work group. There's issues of not only about the work groups that have been completed, but there's also the questions in the market, for example, about how Ukraine can also be the exporter of the organic feed, because many of us knows that the European Commission has made a regulation. There is a regulation in the European Union that there are some of the exceptions that might be used during the military aggression of Russia for the European states. And it has been discussed in Ukraine with the participation of the first deputy of minister, and we had made a decision to address the European Union and the European Union, the state members. We were able to help also to establish this very successful political dialogue on this level. And we were able to say that these exemptions were not used to Ukraine, and Ukraine has already proved its capacities to continue the supplies in organic feeds. And then again, the results of the monitoring that we have received this year, and you can see that on the map that we have shown all every year, and that we have updated every year. And we have the biggest regions for us is Odessa, Zhytomyr region, Poltava region. So you have seen that in my second slide as well, the regions that have been among the leaders, that was Cherkasy region and Ternopil regions. And you see that this year that has decreased the areas covered by the organic farms. Speaking about Kherson and Zaporizhia region, then in Kherson we have seen a decline in 50%, and in Zaporizhia around 30% of decline of organic production and organic farming. But even though that these figures are not really optimistic, I just wanted to say that in order for us to have a clearer understanding of the reasons to that, and so that we can track it and analyze in certain ways, we need a time frame to pass since that, so that we will be able to understand what kind of results we could be aiming for. Because once again, if we speak about Ternopil region and Cherkasy region, it might happen that here there will be some changes in the, for example, in the agreements that have been conducted between the certification bodies. Maybe the same land areas are going to be outlined as organic next year. But in Kherson region, for example, maybe the amount of the areas will decline because the certificate has been valid, but the agreement has not been continued. So we are conducting this monitoring voluntarily, and it hasn't been outlined by the legislation for us to have this mandate, but the certification bodies, and it's really hard work. They're trying their best to provide the data to us, and we were not able to analyze the certain reasons to that. But this is the result that we have this year.
And look at the dynamics here. I would like to say that taking into account the amount of operators that have preserved on our market, it's more than 85% because the decrease happened only for 20%. If to talk about land, it's around 37%. If to talk about exports, then we can say that organic market was held, and also with the help of our international partners, we know that in the nearest weeks there were organized some support, some aid, and our operators received financial support in one of the projects. Swiss program was involved, and Organic Initiative managed to find tools very fast how to implement that. In the other direction, it was German project, so that's why the sector united, and because of that, we have the fact that the sector really managed um, to continue its development. And we also have our organic section on the ministry's website. We always go back to that, where you can see the legislation that is being adopted. You can read about events that has been conducted or are being announced. That's why I invite everybody to visit our page. Thank you, everybody, for your attention. And I would like to wish all the best to each and every one of you. I hope that we will have victory in as fast as possible, and all of us who is from organic sector who is now on a different military front, I wish that they return as soon as possible and get back to their favorite actions and improve production in the front of organic sector. Thank you. Thank you, Marina. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude because for the fact that ministry is doing all of this, because I know that monitoring is a very difficult thing, and to communicate with bodies of certification without any powerful tools of influence and gathering information, producing such materials, it all really helps the sector. We see some kind of statistics, tendencies, maybe even some risks, but we see that maybe numbers a little bit lower now, but I think that still sector managed to maintain operators, and we will deal with lands later. The main thing is to have producers. I don't know, maybe somebody has some questions to Marina, then you can ask them. I think that we have time for one question. And I also would like to add, if you don't mind, then to concerning registers, actually we have more than 50 certified operators in accordance to the law of Ukraine, but the system is working the following way. We certify operators, then we have certain amounts, and every Monday we provide the data to Ministry of Agricultural Policy, because there is a certain amount of days how we can accumulate this information, not to send one operator every day. So every Monday they receive new batch, and then several days they need to renew data in the register. So right now we have more than 50 certified operators according to the Ukrainian legislation. Also, you saw that there were trainings concerning the European regulations, new European regulations, 848, that is being implemented, that will be implemented starting from the next year. And maybe somebody does not know, but these trainings, these are video lectures, they're very good, very detailed, and they are all available on YouTube freely, on YouTube page of Organic Standards. So if you are interested in that, you can use it, and they will be available there for free. Constantly, we would like to express our gratitude to QFTP for such materials. So everything is done for the development of the sector. Now, so let's move on then. Our next topic will be presented by my colleague, Olena Manzuk. Olena Manzuk, Deputy Head of the Certification, Standardization and Quality Department of Organic Standards. She's our leading specialist. This is the investigation of internal market, just several phrases. Why are we dealing with that? Sometimes we have some questions why organic standard is dealing with that. Actually, it's pretty easy answer. So we have this appeal, this request from the market that we need to have some objective data that will help us see the trends, the tendency. All bodies of certification, they report to European Commission. So we report on the amount of sold products on the market. So it's a general report where we gather all this data. So in any case, we collect this data, and having certain mass of this data, we can produce certain analytics out of it. And why do we think that our research is representative? Because as of now, organic standard is certifying majority of players. We do not certify only 2 operators. Of course, it's an estimating research. It gives the opportunity to understand what is happening in the internal market. We try to make it branch by branch, but we have been doing this for 5 years at least, I believe. So it gives us the opportunity to see some trends even. So for you to understand where we get the data, we every year we have data from our clients, what do they implement as organic, and on the basis of this data, we conduct such research for the sector to see what's going on. Once again, we are grateful to QFTP program for this research. And now I'm giving the floor to Olana.
Доброго дня всім. Дякую за можливість виступити. Так, є
Thank you for the opportunity to present. Okay, let me see how it works.
Пані Олено, перепрошую, мені направляти сюди, так?
Olana, can you please tell me where I need to point this thing at?
Ага, дякую.
Thank you.
Окей. Почнемо. Отже, мене звати Олена Мандзюк.
Let's start. My name is Olana Mandzuk.
Провідний фахівець.
I'm a specialist, leading specialist of the certification, and I'm a deputy head of the certification, standardization, and quality department of Organic Standard. I have been working in the sphere of organic production since 2014. And topic of my today's presentation, what I want to present to you today, it's results of organic market study of Ukraine. So that amount of organic products, that volumes that were produced in Ukraine and sold to the final consumer in our internal market. For full understanding, the general volume of the production is much bigger. There is some part of the product which is exported. Some of it is used as a raw material for those enterprises which are dealing with organic raw materials in Ukraine, and not only in Ukraine. Data of this research includes those volumes of organic products that ended on the shelves for Ukrainian final consumers. They were sold in some other sources. Now, stage by stage, we'll talk about this. So if to talk about, in my today's speech, I will have information about general selling of organic products in 2022, so the previous year information. We'll talk in more details about 3 top groups of organic products, which have been leaders during all these years, because these are basic products of our basket. It's a dairy, fresh group, it's vegetables and fruits, and also growths and cereals, organic products. Sorry, it's not working. Okay, it's working now. If to talk about data origin, this research, what is included here, what is not included here, as he has mentioned, these data are these are estimation data. We have been conducting this research for 5 years. It is conducted with the support of Ukrainians with program, and as of now, unfortunately, the data do not cover all detailed information, because we do not have such a single system of database where without any problems we can get data through some kind of system and then analyze them. To amount of organic products that were produced and sold for final consumers provided by operators that are under control of organic standard are here. And because we have access to this data, we see all the details and we can analyze them. Also, in the framework of this research, every year, apart from such salt volumes, we conduct also average research of average prices of organic products in Ukraine. And here we have general statistical data about average prices. What is not included, unfortunately, there is no data on amount of organic products that were produced and sold by operators that are under control of other certification bodies at organic standard. And we just do not have that access to it. Maybe in the future we will get the access to all the information and then we will see more full picture. But still, this data show general picture more or less because majority of producers, they are under the control of organic standard, especially those producers which sell in the internal market. So let's start from the data on groups of products and more detailed. These are those volumes of organic products that were sold to the final consumers at Ukrainian internal market in 2022. Here we have data on volume of tones, and also we have data about money equivalent, which were calculated by us. We see top three products. It's dairy products, vegetables, fruits, cereals. So top three, I would like to repeat myself, more or less, they are in the top every year. This is the basis of our consumers basket. If to talk about volumes, then we have also organic eggs, meat products, juices, drinks, puree, canned products. So these are products which is on the shelves, available on the shelves, and which we can see. Oils also in variety, and but much bigger volumes of production if to talk about oil. But as of now, huge volumes of this oil goes as a raw material for export. We also have group spices and sugar. In 2022, this group of products decreased significantly because it is the product that is mostly important if to talk about raw material, and we have operators that are dealing with these products, and we have also other group. Here we have such products which take more than 1% in the share of products that were sold. They're all in one group now. Here we have bread, sweets like chocolate, honey, tea, coffee, drinks. We also can see it here. If to talk about general trends and how it this organic product that were sold to final consumers at the Ukrainian internal market 2022 influenced the markets, then of course we see that we have now lower numbers. You will see more detailed numbers further in my speech, but I would like to say that this decrease happened if to compare with 2021. In 2022, of course, the biggest influence is a full-fledged war that is happening right now in Ukraine. So it's more than 35% of the volume of organic products at internal market. Here on this slide, I would like to show the same data about the general groups. Dairy products, we will go into more details now for about those top three products. This data shows organic products sold. So in the first positions, we have milk, which is sold. It is the product that needs very specific logistics ways for its realization, but despite some challenges for operators and some problems in top products, we still have stable information. We see that dairy products occupies more than 50%, vegetables and fruits around 30%, and cereals, grains, it's 12%. All other shares if to compare with the general organic product sold at internal markets, it is less than 5%, and we can see the share here. Also, we can analyze cost of the product, shares that taking into account prices for products. So it doesn't want to move. Okay. If to talk about organic products sold uh, in all the groups, in money equivalent, we see that the dairy products is again on the first place. Then we have vegetables, fruits, and cereals and growths. So if to talk about general numbers, trends are the same in volumes and in cost. A little bit different picture we see if we talk about volumes and cost in groups of products in a more detailed way. Can you please help me with that a little bit? Computer does not want to behave with me. Here we have at the top slide amount of organic products sold in weight, in tons, and in at the bottom we see share of products if you talk about costs. What I would like to say about that group of dairy products previous year, so up till 2022, till the full-fledged invasion, our top producers in dairy products, there are three of them. It is organic milk, Starai products, product, and we have export of organic products. Of course, the numbers are the numbers have decreased because we didn't have chain of we didn't have choice of import, and for the first 2-3 months operators farms, yes, they had to milk cows, so the products the product was there, but it was not sold at the internal market, and operators just were giving these products to locals to support them in this way and to be able to continue their work. But thanks to support of financial projects and other support, they remained on the market, and using the very first opportunity when they could renew their work, they did it, and they renewed all chains of supply, and the product was sold in networks. Also, I would like to say that we have butter, milk, cottage cheese, kefir. These are the products that we have every day in our tables. If to talk about product that some certain products that are sold, if to look at the share in money, then if to talk about the costs, butter, for example, is a little bit ahead of milk. I would like to talk to say a little bit more about these products. In previous years, organic butter was also present at the market, but the lion's share of this was exported by our operators, and it was exported to countries which needs planes to be delivered there. As you can understand right now, such ways are not delivery are not acceptable, accessible, but operators, if to talk about our current 2023, they do not only sell at the internal market, but they manage to renew export, organic export of milk, of dairy products, but it is already to the EU countries. It was not easy. It was very difficult, but still there was an opportunity, and we managed to get into external market and to renew the export of dairy products.
Хочу представити дані тут більше
Next slide, I would like to give you the overall understanding for what is going to be the difference in 2021 and in 2022, and we can see a significant decrease. And I can tell you that the amount of the volume according to the amount of the product that has been sold in the internal domestic market, I think that we have got to the position that we used to have 2 years before in the general trend. In this, like, and you're going to see the general trend in a couple of minutes, but at this very slide, I wanted to show you the different movements. You can see the data for the 2022 in external circle, so you can see that was the product that has been consumed and what are the preferences of our customers in 2021, 2022. You can see that the export has decreased, and you can see that speaking about the shares of consumption, we can see the dairy products in the first place, then there's going to be the sour creams and the dairy products there as well. So you can see that there hasn't been significant changes of how shares of products. So top products have been consumed, they're on their positions, but still understanding that the biggest amount of Ukrainian populations, and we're talking about the families with little children, the mothers, a lot of people from this population has left, and that would be the target population that has chosen the organic products for their everyday use and everyday nutrition. So we can see the decrease due to that. But if we will take a look about the figures of the people and the consumption of the people that has stayed in Ukraine, that they continue in consuming the organic products in Ukraine, then you can see that hasn't been a significant decrease if we're speaking about the preferable products of our customers. At this slide, you can see the tops or the other top, it's about the fresh groups, the vegetables, fruits and berries. And you can also see that there's an analysis from 2021 and 2022. We even have the organic mushrooms appearing starting from the year 2022, and you can see that we still have some of the producers of organic mushrooms available, but you can see that the scope and the volumes has decreased. If we will speak about that, the overall disseminations and balance, you can see the fruits and berries are on the first place, the vegetables are on the second place. You can see then again how it's been disseminated in money and in weight, what would be the proportions in this market, but you can see that a bigger half, more than 50%, is dedicated to fruits, the organic fruits in this market. There has been a different criteria and reasons whether we can explain that. So the most of the producers, it's most about the seasonal production, and here we're talking about the fruits and vegetables and even the watermelons here. So if we're speaking about the volume, the kilos that has been sold, so it's going to be really harder for everyone to produce the fruits. And the overall volume of the sales, speaking of the statistical data, if we will compare the year 2022 with the years before, then we have seen the slow certain decrease, of course, but the access to the fresh group of organic products is there, and it's really something that makes us happy. In the fresh group as well, in 2022, I think there was three producers, if I can be sure that there were three producers out of the producers of the fresh group of organic products that have been providing the products to the market. So their market was mostly internal domestic market. The three producers have stopped producing the products to the market, and that due to the active military actions that have taken place on the territory of Ukraine and having the access to the market also, that was really important. Speaking about the logistics that has been also disrupted. But I just wanted to say that some of those who have not able to work and the people have stayed there, try to save of what has been preserved, of what has been made, and not only to protect their own machinery, but also to protect their lands. So in 2023, some of the producers were able to once again recover and restore their working activities. We really are we're really happy for that, because we had some producers that have been under the Russian occupations, a couple of days after they have been deoccupied, they have already communicated with us, invited us for the inspection, just not to lose the status of the organic land, organic farming area, because before that we didn't have the access to them. We contacted them, we can only contact them distantly, and we're not able to provide the physical control, but they were not able to harvest and were not able to provide the products to the market. So this year the situation is a little bit better, and some of them have already recovered the supply of their organic products to the market. Here at the stop graphs, you can see the data on the volumes of the organic products, speaking in money and in weight. So once again, you can see it on the in blue, you can see the fruits, and just as in 2021, the internal circle is more or less on the same level group-wise. Then you can see the next data. It's the statistics data from year 18 to 2022. As you can see, that there has been not a significant but a continuous growth in the production levels. And in this year, in 2022, the data that I have been presenting you about, so you can see that there has been a certain decrease if we're speaking about the weight of products provided, but analyzing the overall group activity about the dairy products in cereals, in the fresh group, the top three of products that have been provided by the organic sector in Ukraine. So the fresh group has shown the least of a decrease of the supply if we're speaking about the percent of supply. Here you can see the data in the fresh organic groups of how the changes, what were the changes that they have experienced, and you can see that compared to the data of 2018, we have analyzed this data, we have worked on this in the last 2 years, and we have seen and felt the really good growth. It was speaking about the organic products that have been provided to the domestic markets. There was many different drivers that impacted that. For example, the more producers in the markets, the preferences of the customers and consumers. And there has been a lot of training that have been conducted, for example, with the help of the organic standards and in collaboration with organic producers. They have conducted certain educational training sessions. We have analyzed the social groups of the population, provided additional advertisements for promoting the organic culture to give the users the info and the customers the information. What is the difference between the organic and non-organic products and why the prices are different as well? I believe that all of this informational work has impacted the development of internal markets, and the year 2022, when we've had the full-scale war, and it's definitely has impacted. Some of the operators in the market have stopped their activity due to many different reasons, but biggest parts, most of the producers that have been selling to the domestic market are still available in the markets. And speaking about the situation as it is now in the internal market of Ukraine, so I would like to say that the operators, they would like to continue working in Ukraine domestically. Some of them also believe that they would like, those people who were only working for the domestic market before, they want to work with the external markets as well, but they have already pledged their desires to stay in the Ukrainian market as well. The group number 3, and there was the group number 3, there was the cereals, and we can speak about the cereals and the producing industries, processing industries here. You can see at the top a diagram, that's about the amount of the organic products sold, and you can see that there's about the grains and seeds on the biggest level, the cereals and groats, and you can see that there's also, we're including the flakes and snacks here, then Sunday snacks, those different breads, different products that are, how to say, the healthy snacks, as we call it. There's groups of product that has also been for the last 3 years introduced to Ukrainian market, and it has gained its popularity. We can see that there is a growing interest in this healthy snacks among our consumers, and this segment has been developing strongly in the recent years. At this very slide, again speaking about the grains and cereals, and here in this segment of what has been used in 2021, 2022, you see that on the first positions we're talking about the also the cereals and groats, and then you can see in the year 2022 that we have mostly sold cereals, and at the second position, we're talking about the flour, and on the third position, we're talking about the organic flakes. And you can see here that on the table, you can see what were the volumes of the tons being sold. You can see that if, for example, if we will compare year 2020, 2021, then you can see that the flags have reoriented slightly. There has been a slight shift between who is dominating the sector. But overall, speaking about the general figures of the products that have been sold in the cereals processing, so you can see that according to the data, that in 2022, in the general data and in the volume of production, we can see a slight decrease. At this very slide, I would like to give you information on once again, you can see the cereals, the flakes and flour, but here I would like to give you the clear understanding of what is the product that tops the production for this group of products. And here at this top table on the right, so you can see that's at the joint on the top 5 of the raw commodity. You can see that we have all of the crops here. You can see that there's buckwheat, barley. You can see wheat here and rye. So what is the preferable? For example, mostly of the flakes. If we're speaking about the cereals, we're talking about the buckwheat. If we're talking about the flour, then it's mostly about wheat. So you can see that's both the solid crops. So we have now defined it further on. So you can see that wheat is about the flour. At this slide, I would like to already summarize my presentation and to give you the overall topic, overall trends for the dynamics of the development of the market. So you can see that there has been the data for the top 3 product groups, and you can see that we have seen some growth in the from the 3 years from 2019 to 2021, but you can see that there has been some downfall in 2022. But if you will see the fresh group, which is speaking about the downfall, that there has been the smallest fall compared to the previous years. At the lower side, there you can see the total amount sold on Ukrainian internal market with all of the products. And you can see the amount that has been already sold. You can see the fresh group, that is the lighter column, the cost, the lighter columns, the amount that has been sold is the darker columns. So you can see the overall amount of the product in Ukrainian markets that's without the imports provided. So we have seen the dynamic growth of the market, but due to the well-known reasons for all of us, we have seen a decrease in 2024. And you can see detailed figures here in the understanding and implementation. And speaking from my part, I also want to add up and wanted to summarize that, of course, we have foreseen the decrease when we have already analyzing the data, and we have understood that as well. We have even been slightly more pessimistic because we believe that the figures might be even lower. But the good thing here is that the producers are staying here. The producers, they are recovering in really faster pace. They're starting to recover, even for the people that have been forced to stop their activities. So from our point of view, there has been a lot of support from the side of the state. There has been a lot of support from the side of the civic society organizations, or on the side of our European partners. That is something that really impacts and it really matters for the producers of the Ukrainian products. And it definitely impacts the overall situation in the market. That's all from my side. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much, Olana. Maybe someone would like to have some questions to the presentation that Olana has made. While you're still thinking about the questions that you have, I just wanted to add some of the details for this question. You might see the infographics of that, the organic info, and you can see the infographics for this year, the next year, not only for the domestic market, but also on the exports. We're definitely going to be updating all of the interesting things. Katarina Shor, who's responsible for that, and she's doing that really in the fastest way. We're doing that so that we would have the data, so that we will be able to work in our everyday sector. So we have the questions on the research. And unfortunately, without the microphone, we're unable to hear the question. But we believe that you're lower than 10%. So basically, as it has been said, that the biggest amount of the brands that has been certified by organic standards, only 2 brands haven't been certified that has been presented in the market. One of them has a very minimal share of that. I think it has the top 10, the other one. But under with these indicators, I can see that there's going to be the difference no less than 5%. If we're going to be speaking about the import of there is the import of the organic products, so something that hasn't been produced by our operators. For example, the organic wines, organic olive oils that has been sold in Ashan and Silpo and Good Wine. So those are the things that are really hard to be controlled right now, almost impossible to be controlled. So it's really hard for me to evaluate what is the share of the organic imports. So, I'm not even going to make this correlation to this part. So you have to consider this data as the analysis of our internal domestic production of organic products. Then it's going to be definitely important, and then it will be more than 95% in reality. Of course, Alana has said that we're speaking about the volumes in the real volumes, but the prices, we're not collecting the prices from our clients. The clients, they know that we're not doing that. So we have to evaluate what's going to be done, and sometimes they're jumping. We're taking the mid of that, so they might be also moving in the certain range. So when we started to do that, we didn't have any data available. So we just tried to do that as it is. So if someone can do that better, then definitely we're going to make a different side. We're going to make a step aside. So we're not a professional marketers, or we're just learning how to do that. People are providing us some really good commands in time, and we are also considering that further on. We are reconsidering some of the things later that, but we're doing this analysis for the 5 years in a row, so for us to have certain picture of the market as well. Do you have more questions, please? And again, if it's not in the microphone, we're not able to hear. About the general analytics in the channels in the main selling channels. So what would be the share of the big markets or the private small shops? So do you have that, or you do not do that? I cannot give you that in figures or percentage. We haven't calculated that and we haven't provided that, but having analyzed that, if I can say that. So what has been already sold in the top retail chains and networks, most of that has been sold through the retail networks. And the second would be their own sales, for example, the internet pages for the brand, and the Instagram and other sources that can provide you as the main sales channel. And the smaller segment would be the internet shops and the internet sales. The top of that would be the big supermarkets and the big networks. Yes, but you have asked this question, and we're going to take a note of that. And maybe for the next time, we will be able to make this kind of a segmentation, because we do have this data and we will be able to report on that. Okay, so we have another questions on that as well. Yes, can you please explain why, in your point of view, so like the fresh sector of the products has decreased the least? Yes, we have talked to our colleagues as well. We have discussed it with our colleagues that have been coordinating and has been directly communicating with the producers of the fresh products. My point of view, and the point of view from our professionals and from our colleagues and from what the operators have told us, that the fresh has been the least impacted by that, because that would be the products that should be already provided to the market. So basically those are already the products that, according to the logistics, they cover the least distances. So we believe that this is a condition sensitive product, and this is something that has to be harvested and brought to the market as fast as possible. So that is why some of the producers are located in a closer distance. And for those producers that have been selling these products in the domestic market, so they have been selling that to the shortest logistics chain. So they're selling in the very same region. So if you have harvested berries, you're not going to drive it far away to sell it. So you're going to be using the quickest and the closest chain of sales. So that's going to be sold the fastest. And that would be the main criteria in my point of view. Yes, and I will add up one thing to that, because when we have talked to the producers, there was an opinion that has been voiced out as well. And due to the occupation of the south of Ukraine, the Kherson region, So the Zaporizhia region, and so the supply chains have been disrupted as well. And so the producers that had the local chain and local supply, they have experienced certain increase of demand. It's not only for the organic producers, but for the organic producers as well. For example, they voiced out this opinion. So, like for example, the Danube Agrarian, they have watermelons, and for example, their watermelons, they had some better market situation than a year ago or 2 years ago before the war. Like I'm just going to give an example that I haven't talked to the Danube Agrarian about that, but there is an opinion of that. So we keep on moving on. There's going to be one slide presentation that I would like to do. It will going to take just a minute of your time. Thank you, Olena. So we're doing this market research for 5 years, and about 3 years ago, we have been addressed by the other organization, the brand story, that is talking about the brand stories, and told us, let us do some kind of a rating on organic sector. We've said like, okay, we're providing the market analysis, and we have this understanding of market analysis and the costs and the volumes of sales. They have offered us the collaboration. Let us add some additional criteria, for example, how the brands are seen in the markets, in the networks, and they created a methodology that we have used giving them certain data and give us their analytics, talking to the different producers, taking the comments and different information from them, and we have also checked the information. They have created this kind of rating for the third year in a row. The ratings of the top 10 most unknown brands of the organic products in Ukraine, and sectoral ratings on dairy, as Alana has said, on the fresh groups and on the crops and the cereals, because will be the biggest groups. I'm going to show it to you very fast. I hope that we will do. It will be very interesting for you to know the brands, and that will be also very good for the producers to understand what is their position in this segment.
Here we have 3 years in a row. The first place is brand organic milk. I think everybody understands here why. You have seen data on dairy products. It is presented in all big supermarkets, and actually they are really great, and they do a lot in integration of organic products. And the second place is our Danube Agrarian, and I will be very, very fast. And then the third place, it's Stary Porit, Old Porit. Once again, it's a fresh group, active product, active sellings. Here we have dairy once again, because dairy is 54% in general, if to talk about sales. And we will show also the fourth brand, it's Ecorot. If to take those four brands, and each of them, the assortment is really huge. It's 40 plus position. As it also means a lot. It's not just one active product of one active one product of one active product. So here we have, if you put it in the branch in the shelf, there will be really great shelf with organic products, and that's true. They are really doing great job. Also, we have organic chicken, eggs. It's the numbers are increasing every year. The four Skvaryanka, also very popular brand. It is actually exported actively. The seventh Agrostaritsa, they are also really good. They usually it's supplied to good wine, but they have pretty wide assortment, and they always decrease their production. Organic meat, the brand also really great. Every year they increase their position. Organic uh, um, organic house, this is organic, then organic tear, and big blue. uh, Once again, I would like to repeat myself that the basic is the analysis of the market of 2022. We do not have the opportunity to analyze 2023 because it hasn't finished yet. We can already correlate who is already at the market, who stays and who sells actively. But among a part of those criteria that I have mentioned, if not only to talk about volume and cost, it is also representatives in networks and how active are they in social media. And just several words, top three in dairy products. We have heard about them. Actually, there is no surprises. Organic milk, the first place. Old Poritsk, Старый Poritsk, the second one, and Etnoproduct, the third one. Etnoproduct is actually has been under occupation. It was under occupation last year. They are regionally located in such a place, so that's why they lost a little bit their position in the top. But I believe in them, and I really wish them to have fast renewal and to get their place. They have been working on that. And fresh, this also those brands that you have heard from top 10, it's the new Agrarian, it's Agrostaritsa and Organic Greenhouse, Organic Terra. And also we have Ekorot. They also have huge assortments, Kvarianka and Alex Agro. By the way, Alex was not in the top, but now it's here. They have been doing really good job. They have had pretty powerful range of growths, and they are producers, so they have their own raw material. That's why they have certain benefits on the market because of them. They have nice package, and they even start exporting their products. I wish them all the best and all success. So how it looks. So together with Brand Story, it was their initiative 3 years ago. Every year we try to support those ratings. Then later they're promoted in social network. There is a collaboration with producers. I think it's also useful for producers because there is active promoting and information about certain brands among consumers. Thank you for attention. This is the end of my blog. It's giving the floor to Olena, and she will tell you what we're going to do next.
Так, всім дякую.
Yes, so thank you everybody. Now we are going to have a break till 12:15. Please, those who are here, go to a coffee break, and those who are with us online, you can also have some break, and we will return at 12:15. See you then.
Так, вітаю. Ми продовжуємо нашу конференцію.
Welcome back. We continue our conference. Our next block is dedicated to the topic of trade and promotion of organic products. In this block, we are going to have the analytical speech of All Retail magazine, and also we'll have a panel discussion with the producers of organic products and with the participation of Ukrainian trade networks. And right now, I would like to introduce our speaker. It's analytician of All Retail magazine, Alexander Miranchuk. Hello, the floor is yours. Thank you. So my presentation is dedicated to key trends on the Ukrainian food retail market during the last 2 years. So, in fact, from the beginning of the full-fledged invasion. So we are starting. I would like to emphasize that, of course, in 2022, there was significant decline in retail for understandable reasons, and lots of stores appeared on the occupied territories and that up there the lost logistic capacities, not only in the east and south, but also in Kyiv region. Big warehouses were ruined, and lots of Ukrainian retailers, national and local and regional, faced the situation when they just were forced to adapt to new realia. And after the first year, such adaptation of the key players to happen, and later in the presentation we will see that pretty fast Ukrainian companies adapted to the situation that happened. In 2023, retail turnover grew first quarter. It's already a sign. Of course, the base there was pretty low from 2022, but still there was a growth, and it's good. Lots of people forecast that in 2023 we are also going to have some kind of decline. I would like to also mention that in 2023, in comparison to 2022, a number of operators that expanded their chain of stores have increased 2.5 times. And inflation compared to 2022 also reduced a little bit. Next slide, please. It's a distribution of food retailers for June this year. I would like to mention that in Ukraine, if to talk about the amount, then the local operators on the first place, usually they're not they're not really huge. If to talk about their size of network, local operators is operators that are only in one region. And the regions we understand 5 regions of Ukraine: East, West, South, and Center. And regional operators, there are 19 of them. They cover 2-3 regions, and national operators, 10 of them. They are presented in all regions, or 4 out of 5 regions. There are 10 of them. And for international operators, they are also present in the Ukrainian market. The next slide, please. To talk about the number of modern FMCG markets, we also see that local operators are leading, but amount of local and national operators are actually pretty close to a little bit more than 2,500. Regional operators have 1,200 stores, and international more than 200. Next slide, please. 2022-2023 in Ukraine. In 2022, if to compare with 2021, I would like to say that, of course, the pace decreased of opening the new stores, and it was the lowest indicator in 4 years, but taking into account the first half of 2022, still it was pretty significant. The operators started renewing, restoring very fast after first shocking month. And as you can see, in 2022, 602 new outlets were opened, including 525 brand new, which opened at new locations, and the rest are rebranded. And in the first half of the year, generally, 212 stores were opened in 2022, and in 2023, we have high numbers. It's 284, so 35% of increase, and we forecast also increase in comparison with in 2023 in comparison with 2022. The next slide, please. Total number of stores of modern formats. It's interesting information which demonstrates how significantly the amount of such stores have grown in Ukraine. Right now, it's more than 7,000. For example, 10 years ago, in 2013, the amount of such stores was more than, not really more than 3,000. So the pace of growth were really high at the beginning of 2022. So the trade was developing really in a really powerful way, but then we see there was a little plateau, and now temps are a little bit slower, but still the increase is going on. The next slide, please. Here you can see which companies in Ukraine opened their stores in the first half of 2022 and 2023, also in the first half of the year. I would like to mention here that in 2022, as well as in 2023, the stores of FMCG and also Simya, so market, final market, they were developing. In 2022, they lost lots of their stores because they were on the occupied territory, so they were destroyed. But still, they developed their network and they increased it. 23 stores in the first half of 2022, 27 in the first half of this year. Also, I would like to mention concerning 2023 that SIM23, it's their leader. Then final market from Kropyvnytsky, they also developing pretty actively. From national operators, only for the group is present. They opened 17 stores. ATB market, they are leaders of the market. If to talk about turnover, their pace of expansion is a little bit slower now, but they plan to have more ATB markets in the second half of the year. Please, the next slide. Talk about formats. I would like to mention that mini markets still remain popular, the most popular format. New formats, so stores, so new stores which are opened as well as in 2022 and in 2023, mini markets to occupy top place. And discounters were at the second position in 2022, but as I have mentioned that ATB lowered their pace of expansion in 2023, the amount of discounters is only on the fourth position, whereas supermarkets are on the second place and convenience stores 32. I would like to emphasize that hypermarkets or cash and carries in the first part of 2023 were not open at all. I would also like to say that in 2023, as of now, some operators are developing discounters. For example, here we can say that Novus launched the network of discounters Hapaika. 2 of the stores are now opened in Kyiv region and in Kyiv. And the company of Salty meat factory Rulka. They also in the segment of discounters. They also opened their first store in Kyiv at the subway station Lisova, and one more operator which positions itself as a discounter, but actually it's something in between a discounter and a mini market. It's Dismart. They also already opened several stores in Kyiv and in region. The next slide, please. Mini markets, it is the most widespread format. Discounters, it's due to ATB Markets, leader of the market. They are in the second place. ATB, as we know, expand, so they have different formats of their stores, new ATBs, and discounters I was talking about in the previous slide. They are different from ATB. They're more like Hapaika and Rulka stores. They are discounters of hard format, like classic Aldi and Lidl of the 1960s. Convenience stores, all these formats are very popular in Ukraine. 97, they occupy 97% of the whole market, and 57% of all the stores are small formats, convenience stores and mini markets. Let's talk about the amount. And as I have already mentioned, no new formats were opened in the first half of the year. They halted their development. We even do not have the information so far whether there will be some kind of opening of such big stores in the nearest half a year. Next slide, please. And regions of Ukraine where such stores were opened. As you can see, in 2022 and in 2023, Western regions of Ukraine dominate because of understandable reasons. Before the full-fledged invasion, Western Ukraine was also pretty interesting region for many retailers who were not presented there as wide as in other regions. But now, of course, Western Ukraine, in Western Ukraine, we have around 35% of new openings in the first half of 2022 and the first half of 2023 as well. In both analyzed periods, central region more than 20%. And here, let's concentrate on 2023, Eastern Ukraine, 13.4%. Here we mostly have Kharkiv region stores and the same indicators as in 2022, 10.9% in southern and eastern Ukraine and northern Ukraine here. Those regions occupy the 5th and 6th position. So that's the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer them.
Дякую.
Я одразу відповім на
I
це
would like to
питання.
straight away answer this question. So all of the presentations, the recording of our today's event, everything is going to be sent to all of the participants after the day is over. So all of the presentations, and we're going to have the recording both in English and in Ukrainian. If there's going to be some questions from our partners, so you will also be able to share all of these materials and recordings that we will provide. Thank you very much, Alexander, for your presentation. So do we have any questions for Alexander? Okay, I will help Alana a little bit because with Olena, yes, we have got you back. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to ask all of our speakers today to get back to the stage, to the panel. First of all, I would like to introduce you with the moderator of our following block and our following part. I would like to introduce you with the moderator, and we will have Alexander Prihodko, the manager for the Agrarian Markets Development from the USA Agro. And you will need to turn on your microphone. So please take your seats. And I would like to also introduce you with our participants. Are going to be a very interesting panel for us. We have the representatives of our two big networks. We have Natalia Primak, the category manager of Silpo chain. And we also have Danilo Chervonek and the category manager for Wine Time Network. So Danilo, just wave us, let us know that you're here with us. We have the 5 producers that we believe have very interesting and, let us say, leading case in organic markets, and they know how to work with trade and how to work with chains. We have Dmytro Sharov, the head of the Dunayski Agrarian, the Danube Agrarian company. They are the leader among the fresh retail. We have Alexander Ratushnyuk, the head of Shriva LLC, and Alexander is going to give you a better understanding of what they have started to sell in the networks and when the full-scale invasion has been brought out and what they started, how they started to collaborate with the retail chains. We also have Andriy Olifirenko, who represents the Organic Original LLC, and the company are leading company in the main grains and cereals categories. We will also have Valentin Obster, who is the head of the Old Poretsk LLC, Stary Poretsk. They have a very interesting case in collaboration with a Silpo retail chain. And Yevhen Loncharenko, the head of Molfar Eco LLC. And Yevhen, on one hand, is our main advocate, and he's our protector. He is a Marine. He is a Marine, a former Marine. Like, like without the uniform, we cannot identify which kind of forces you have been participating in. So thank you very much for protecting us and developing the organic businesses that you are taking care of. So, like, take a look at this person. This person are also on the work grounds and doing the very interesting thing that he's going to tell us about. So, I've tried to ask him to in the uniform, like, he's right now having a vacation. Okay, so I will pass the floor to Alexander. Please, Alexander, the floor is yours. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So good day once again, dear colleagues. And I think that if we're going to have a discussion panels, then I think that I would like to ask us to divide it into a couple of stages. At the first stage, I'm going to give a question to all of our participants, and I would like to know, like, what is going on with you right now? And I would like to really know some updates about what is the situation with you as of now, and then maybe to switch to a discussion about the customers, consumers, and marketing, and what it is about right now. So, Danilo, let us start with you. And so in what way the retail networks, the retail chains are currently responding to what has happened during the war? Because we do understand right now that that many people have left, and the main target for you was Kiev. So basically, how it impacted your activity? Yes, I just wanted to say that yes, it strongly impacted, and especially in 2022, that was really impactful for us because what were our main customers? They've left. So first of all, it's about the military man. So there's a lot of people who were drafted, who went to war, and there has been a lot of people who lost as customers. Then the families is our consumers, the families that left Ukraine, the family that went abroad, and that would be the biggest segment of the people that we have been relying, and the organic has been targeting, or at least in wine time. And another more important moment that was impactful in 2022, but was also impactful in 2023, that's when it wasn't unclear what is going to be happening tomorrow, the people have started to concentrate on their attention on those products, or maybe, like, for example, the alcohol, the one that have never seen before and never considered. So, for example, they started to, to talk about what was going to be useful. So it's like they're not been considering of what's going to be good for them in this year, because they didn't know what's going to be happening tomorrow. In 2023, we see the trend that has changed. So we now see those tendencies, and people are a little bit clearer in understanding what might happen tomorrow. And that is why the year 2023 is slightly different than year 2022. We have been analyzing mostly 2022 this today from what I have seen, but I think that retail-wise, 2023 is better. Do you see some, can you have some figures that can be compared? Well, you know, you asked me about the organics. So yes, I wanted to say that there was a downfall by 35, 40%. Have you seen this a dynamic to return to the previous position? We haven't considered that yet. So we're talking about the basically from mid 2022 to mid 2023. That's a financial year for us. Have you changed your approach to the producers? I think that we have thought that it's not like that someone has to come to us, but we have to find someone, because we had a lot of producers that started collaborating with us because they have been either on the occupied territories or were not able to fulfill the production, or they lost their production lines. So that is why the network itself, we've started to search for the new producers of whom we can attract to fill it in. So did you have the impact for the market from the new producers? What do you mean by that? Well, we mean that, like, were you able to find those categories of producers? Well, it's not that we are, you know, we're always looking for something and someone. We never have the full categories covered, but it's not like some category, we've lost some categories fully. Okay, but speaking about the priority, okay, let me put it the other way around. Speaking on the feedback from the customers and the consumers, what are the categories that people are looking for? You know, just as the presentations have said, that first of all, it's about dairy. So dairy, that is something that has been mostly consumed. And from my point of view, that is something that is more visible, for example. So if we were speaking about the watermelons, for example, then it's harder to see, like, you know, you cannot just analyze, for example, the watermelons from the market and watermelons, organic watermelons, that there will be a significant difference in what we can find them. For example, for me as a young father, I know that, for example, at home, I only use, like, for example, the new Agrarian of watermelons. I don't consider that as an advertisement, but like this is what it is for me, because I have a little child and I know that I'm going to be using the best for my child as well. And I have seen the results of this analysis, and I know what I can give to my daughter and what I cannot. So in the same time, in our retail chain, we also wanted to do that our guest, and this is how we call our customers, so our guests would have a clear understanding of what is the difference. And you know, you can feel this difference not only in words, but you can already see that. So you know, this is the hard figures that, like, there's nothing you can do with that, because they are there. After the dairy, there's also about the crops and cereals. And so, yes, we have seen that we had a strong downfall in sales. For example, for the flakes and the oatmeal flakes, because there has been a lot of people that have lost that have gone away. So, you know, I am the person, like, for example, myself, the person who makes breakfast for everyone. And, you know, I've also used the oatmeal flakes as well. And on the third position, that would be the meat and eggs. So the level of the sales of eggs right now is on the higher position, but on meat, I don't know, maybe there's a commercial that works in best, but with the head of the new Agrarian, the percentage of the organic meat has increased because we've started to use poultry. So the position was, yes, the position is very popular. So we had increased the sales even than we have expected, even though our expectations were even quite high. Okay, good. Natalia, let then switch to you. In your point of view, so you've had different cases and the different approaches because you work with a different geography. So in your point of view, how do you see that category-wise and volume-wise? So do you see, is there any progress? What does Silpo do as a network, as a chain, to meet the challenges of the markets and to control the overall understanding of the customers? if we speak about the very beginning of the full-scale invasion, the global problem that we have faced, it was the complete disruption of all of the logistics chains, and we had to rebuild our logistics from the very beginning. We need to rebuild it. We need to switch to the new producers, and you know that quite good, that we had quite a big share of imported goods, and started from the full-scale invasion, we needed to have more of a local produce as the one that we could use on our shelves. And speaking of the beginning of year 2022, then we have been focused on the long-term usage product because the demand from Ukrainians has changed as well. You know, women with children have left, and the dairy has decreased significantly due to that. And we have concentrated on the people for the products with a long usage date. In 2023, we have already seen that we have an increase of the vegetables and fruits, the eggs, the milk, and the cold products. Geography-wise, do you have some changes in 2022, 2023? Yes, we have a lot of changes, the increase of people in the Western regions. Have you conducted certain marketing activity in order to engage, for example, the customers to the organic products? We understand that you have your own brands in your own shop, but on the other hand, you know, the customers are changing and the consumers are changing. Have you done something additionally to attract them, or do you plan to do that? In 2022, we haven't spoken about the organic product a lot because we believe that there was not a high demand to develop this category. But in 2023, we have already tracked that the trend is increasing. Right now, among the population, the people are more interested in the healthy products. They're interested in the quality of the product, who is the producer of the product. So, of course, we're trying to get a lot of efforts market-wise to promote those products and to give they give the advertisement for the producers as well, because we're trying to get our customers aware of who is the person making this every bottle of milk or every bottle of jam. So, like, do the producers ready to collaborate? Yes, yes, of course, they will constantly participating in that. For example, during our days off, we've had this first organic fest in our Republic Park residential center, and our guests had the opportunity to meet the producers, to taste the new products, because basically, except for the festivals, we're also trying to conduct certain tastings, for examples, in the shops, and also to provide the meetings with the producers for our customers, because we do have people who are interested in new products. But as the research shows that most of our customers are quite conservative, and in order to get the attention of our guests for the new products, we have to communicate properly with about this product and give them the opportunity to taste this product as well. Okay, speaking about the engagement. So, like, have you tracked, for example, in what way this fair works? Does it increase the sales in the certain categories? If we're speaking about the 2023 now, during the festivals, we're talking about the growth about 120, 160% during the days of the festivals. Okay, I understand that it's hard to answer about the long-term perspective, but considering the pre-war period, because they have conducted the fairs there. Yes, we have conducted fairs, but we have never conducted the fairs of organic products. We have only conducted the fairs for the farms the products. Yes, long term, we believe that yes, that we have some guests who've already coming back to the product. They've met the product, they know the product, and they come to buy this product. So I think 15, 20% of growth in sales of organic products, that's what we receive after the fairs. In your point of view, what can improve the sales of organic products? So what else can be done? Like, for example, additionally developing the customers, except for the markets. Maybe you have discussed something in the marketing department. Do you have any ideas? Except for the marketing activities and the informational campaign for the guests, and the price is an important part of it. Because basically we have tracked it, and the category of our guests who are buying the organic products, it's about
Люди, які слідкують за здоров'ям.
35, 45 years of age. Those are people who take care of their health, the people of actually people who are taking care of their health and are interested in high quality products, the people who consider the territories and the place of production. And the price is an important component. Even for the guests of the less ILPO and our more exquisite formats, they're still price sensitive. I do understand that the cost of the organic products is higher than the conventional products, and it's really hard for them to increase the prices overall. But to participate in this pricing offers that the chains are offering, that might be a way out for their producers. Alexander, I would like to pass the floor to you. So basically, just for us to keep up with the dynamics of our conversation, speaking about the mass markets and organics, can you share your case with us? Can you share your point of view and your desires as well? Compared to the colleagues, I am a newbie to this business. So, I've had quite a strong expertise in collaboration with the retail chains, and I used to be a commercial director. And I have worked for 15 years with the retail chains. And when I've started to work in my own businesses, I really like the idea of organic production. But what I wanted to do is to do something that has never been presented in the organic market before. I might share with the principles that I have chosen, I've chosen the category I would like to work in. So I've chosen the category that was very, very broad. And starting with this category, I've understood that I'm going to only take the share of 5 or 10%, and I try to calculate if it will be acceptable for me or not. I've also chosen the categories that's also going to be that's going to be made by a small amount of positions. And I've chosen the categories for the organics and non-organics products. They don't have a really big price difference. So, it's not like the organic product is going to be 2 or 3 times more expensive than the product that is non-organic. So what did we do? In 2022, in May 2022, we were able to enter the main chains, the retail chains, and we were able to get to the usual shelf, so we didn't go to the topical shelf. So we wanted to emphasize that we wanted to make a really small marginal prices for us to be the most affordable as much as it possible. And we are trying to promote this idea as much as possible as well. So we are doing those different activities that work with a specific retail chains as well. So for example, the price activities, the price promo that the guest of a certain chain has already been you got used to. So basically once a quarter, that's the time when we participate in those different campaigns. So this is a classical marketing of working with a chef. Yes. So does it impact the sales, if you can share this percentage with us? Well, if I may say, then, well, first of all, we have grown and we have got to all of the chains that we were interested in. And we were able to reach 70–80% of the rooms. And, since the moment that we've got into that, we had no problems and no issues of actually getting out of this networks. I do not have the figures on the sales, but speaking from the category managers, we are among the top 10 or the more top 12 positions in the category. So basically, for example, like the seeds, for example, is really simple category. Seeds are salted or not salted. As a question from the online, like, can you give us a trademark? That's a fried seeds, the snacks, basically the snacks project. That's the Żywa trademark it. And so basically we've used the very same tools, the trade marketing tools that are used for the average product, for the conventional products. So I do agree with the previous speakers as well, saying that I do not believe in organic products that is going to be 2 or 3 times more expensive than the other products, and that is taste-wise. Let us say there are some organic products that can make a difference. Like for example, the watermelon again. So when I have tasted the organic watermelon, and there was like the taste of childhood, that because I have stopped eating watermelons because I cannot eat it. But unfortunately, I have tasted the buckwheat, organic buckwheat, and I have tasted the seeds again. So it doesn't has a very big taste difference. There is an understanding and feeling that that's healthy, that's a good thing to eat, that it's a good thing to eat, but the customer is not going to pay more for that.
That's why our task, it was that challenge that there were not so many suppliers of raw materials. So during this period, we also created cluster of farmers who grow their amount of seeds for us. But the main factor, first of all, is that we have the same principles and we play the same by the same rules as non-organic. And the third thing is that we are very cautious, we are very thorough if to talk about accessibility of this product, if to compare it with non-organic. If to talk about the consumer and promotion of a trademark, is there some kind of feedback from the side of your partners that you have been cooperating with? And where do you get this analytics or research or whatever you're talking about? So I have my sales, so I see that whether we have bigger amount of sales or not on the floor, then there is also understanding that if they do not ask you to exit, then everything is good and you are present in 70% of holes, and it's a great metrics for organic. So that's I do not have access to sales in networks, but I just observe and monitor my sales, and our sales are growing because we are entering the networks, and it's only half a year. But still, if to talk about the experts, then maybe 5-7% I occupy this share. Okay, Andriy, let's ask you. Yes, hello. Oh, so you have been on the shelves for a longer time. So how did the war influence and what marketing direction is now we are talking about of this trademark? How networks want to help you? Maybe sources of sales changed. Yes, so we have been on the shelf since 2011. What has changed with the war? Especially at the beginning of 2022, spring and summer, the channel supermarkets really decreased. It's in our case. We directly had clients approaching us, those who were used to our products. Before, we did not even view this channel of selling selling to clients directly because lots of operational work is included here and share of sales is really small. But now we even work on this channel. Somehow, well, I cannot say that somehow, but still because of the war, there was a review of conditions in many networks. I would not say that in majority of them, but in many of them. And now conditions are harsher. So it's interesting. It's interesting actually because even in logistics, even though our product is expensive, you have to take the share in logistics. Let's say, figuratively speaking, not about organic, but you have a bottle of whiskey which costs 1,000 hryvnia and bottle of horilka of vodka is 100 hryvnia. So it's the percentage of logistic cost where we have expensive products. It's very low, but we what I'm trying to say that the conditions are harsher now. Did it help you? Well, the answer is obvious. We just start developing and looking at the channel of selling to consumers. We have a chat box. We have been working on CRM systems, and we move more to that area. Then, actually, we have responded and reacted as well as market in general. Figuratively speaking, it's a general product market. It may be decreased 30-40%. The same with organics. We have the same trend. All of this can be understood if we talk behind the curtains and in such panels. What I would like to say is that now in 2023, yes, really the situation is getting better. We can feel that. I do not know, I cannot forecast what will happen and whether we will have blackouts again and electricity outages, because really emotionally you do not perceive supermarkets in the same way, because we do not know whether people will continue buying organic product or not. But now, since we still have electricity and we have such emotional better situation, if to compare it with the previous situation when we did not have electricity, then situation is getting better. But again, right now, my own experience for 12 years, what marketing tools are effective. Sorry, but those sales, organs they do with prices, they do not work at all. Maybe they work, for example, if we on the price tags they mention it's a yellow or green price tag, or additionally they have some additional location in the stores, then it may grow, it increase a little bit the sales, but usually it is not effective. Why? I understand it, because if initially the product was extremely expensive and not understandable, okay, it is decreased in price now, but still it's expensive. So because figuratively speaking, if it was 70% more and now it's 20% less, it's still more expensive than some kind of basic product. That's why clients can say, okay, well, there is a little bit of flexibility with the price. Maybe somebody will try it and buy it, but usually it is not effective. I think that it is connected with the fact that client does not understand. I provide an example, which it's my own example. It's really great when we have some kind of festival and I can communicate with our clients, and people come and say, why it's so expensive? The only thing that works is then when you tell them about what is organic. That is what is effective. You tell them all the story. You say it's 3 years of certification of land you pay every year. And you tell them how difficult it is, and then several certification for every stage. So I think that a majority of people in the audience know what what is organic. So when you tell person about that, they say, "Oh, okay," and then they buy those products. So the question is not in the price, but that awareness of the consumer is close to zero. So I tasted something, let's say, relatively speaking, it's not 1,000 now, but 800. A regular is 600. Well, okay, maybe somebody will buy it, but it's still not the same. So that's why I always emphasize on that consumers should be aware of the situation. They should understand what's going on. That's something that can make additional incentives for our internal market. This is my experience. Okay, if to talk about, apart from this knowledge factor, awareness factor, how is it possible to catch up or to, let's say, bring up, educate the consumer through your existing consumers? Because as I have heard, you have found a new channel for yourself. So that's in this new channel, you have your clients who used to buy your products, but they still actually your voice to other consumers. So have you been working in this direction? Well, personally, we as producers, so far, we do not have budgets for, figuratively speaking, working on increasing awareness. It's a little bit supreme task for us. It's additional effort to develop not our trademark, but organic in general. Yes, I mean this Euro leaf, and then later it will be Ukrainian logo. but we have not been working on this so far, but still, as an owner of Ecorot, as a founder, I understand that it is actually more beneficial for me to promote organic brands than Ecorot. And I can even say that earlier, when many years ago we entered the networks of supermarkets, we we're dealing with growth also, and really there is very difficult to feel this difference between non-organic and organic. But I actually have an example. One of my relatives, when she was pregnant, she told me, "Can you please bring me 16 packs of wheat, because now I feel the difference between organic and non-organic wheat, because my sensitivity is increased after this and after different processes that happen in pregnant bodies." So there were situations when people really can feel the difference. So when 10 years ago we entered those networks of supermarkets, we brought our growth, grains and organic milk, let's say, because it's difficult to see the difference with uh, grains, and category managers then tried organic milk and they told that, yes, it's our taste of childhood. So we actually developed not our brand, but organic brand that is above us. This is actually a cool case to talk about uniting, that all producers can all together can push the market forward, and that's about awareness and the development of the consumer. Yevhan, hello. Your case, that's about marketing or about sales with Укрзалізниця? We are talking about Укрзалізниця. With Укрзалізниця, I think it's definitely not about the sales. It's definitely not about the sales, because the railway station Укрзалізниця, they called us themselves and they told that, we know that you exist, such a Ukrainian brand. Can you please come, have organize some kind of testing for us and tell about yourself? So at that time I was in Dachna, it's near Odessa, in the 35th Brigade of Marines, and it was my point of constant dislocation. Next day I was in Kyiv. I came to them. We took our regular tea, and after we drank the tea, I explained, I understand, and you do not yet understand, that if you have heard about us, if you really knew about our products, about our tea, you would not call us. But I know what you need. So I mentioned that for the railway, you need our tea. So it's for our tea, you need green, black, and herbal tea. So we took really good quality black tea. It's like in the joke, yes, you can pour it without and do not save it for something else. And we also added our herb to this. Then we took green tea and added our mint to it. And then herb tea was from our Melissa mint and chamomile. In in 1 month and a half, we already printed everything. And when the brigade was moving to Donbass at that time, I was going through Kyiv, so I went to Kyiv. I parked near the left entrance to the railway station. There was this fortress of unbreakability. Commission came, Leshchenko, and it seems to me there was some lady who was the advisor of the ambassador of the Great Britain in economy. Things, and there were representatives of 1+1 TV channel and the Fifth channel, and I told in the microphone, you asked us to do this, we did this, and and now I can continue my journey. So I was there for like 2 hours. So we managed to cooperate. So through these cases, can we develop organic? I would clarify, can we educate consumer from practical cases of informal sources of sellings? In your understanding, can you please specify your question? As far as I understand, or I know, that in the nearest future there will be organic tea. It's already there. In Ukrzaliznytsia has it. Yes. We know how many consumers, possible consumers. Okay, I can tell you, Ukrzaliznytsia drinks every year 3 million portions of tea. And for May, if to talk about our tea, Ukrzaliznytsia drank every third cup. It is an expert opinion that it can be actually half. So if we are talking about promotion of organic brand in general, then in our online age, Wolfar Eco Company, in, if you talk about flyers, then 100,000 flyers are handed out. That's for understanding. It's a real case, and just for understanding where you can move further. Yes, so you can just think how to implement it in the future because it is really a great thing. Okay, the question to Dmytro. Hello, everybody. We already we have said all good words about you today. Can you please tell how this company, Dunajskie Agrarian, the new Agrarian, managed to overcome this period of 2023? Because you occupy active marketing position in the category and in channels of sellings, and that's why it is interesting to hear whether there is some kind of feedback from that. Of course, there is a feedback. Technically, we have problems with people more because with fruits and vegetables, we need lots of manual work, and that's why we need many people. As of now, we catastrophically lack people to just even pick up our harvest. So that's why we have to choose whether we were going to pick up onion, pumpkin, or batat in this aspect. But if we talk about sales with markets, then this year the market it's in much better condition, and we see this trend. Then more or less we have growth around 20% if to compare year to year. So do we need already to wider your area? We constantly do that because if you want to get some kind of dynamics, you need to put it even before that. So, for example, we are now on that stage where we talk with Lidl concerning assortments and volumes, and now we are also planning already the season of 2024. Okay, so what will the consumers see something new? Because we are used to the fact that you add something every year. We will have new positions, use dairy with vegetables and fruits. We will still have the same assortments. But if to talk about the development of consumer, I know that you have active online networks. So does it bring some increase to the sales of categories, or it's some kind of partners programs with channels of sales? Have you monitored that? Well, for us, social networks, we are selling through Instagram, and it's this tool for getting fast feedback from our consumers. Due to such reactions, we can make decisions in a very fast way and adapt to something if to talk about our products in assortment or if in some types of the very product. So it is not like our tool for sellings, but Instagram takes maybe up till 3% in our sales. But if to talk whether we can now have minimal budget and increase the same awareness of our target audience, then we need from networks to have communication with their marketing departments, direct communication, not through sellers, not through managers who might represent those categories, but our marketologists should have direct connection with marketologists of the networks.
буде більш швидша робота в цьому напрямку, і можна
We'll
буде
have a faster work in this direction, and of course, we're going to be able to produce a lot of interesting content. Like, for example, we had already had these examples with onlines, and like, for example, we have created the videos together with Wine Time on watermelons, and for example, we've been doing some videos of, for example, how you can prepare different and cook different dishes from the organic products. But speaking about the marketing collaborations with Wine Time, and they have their own philosophy. But if you're speaking about the classical retail, so whether the other marketing departments are ready to listen to the organic products and whether they see you, like, of course they're ready to listen. You know, that's it's one thing that we need to do. Like, you just contact us and we will organizing that on our own. I think everyone has those professionals who working with the social media or some other things. Okay, let me clarify the question. So whether the organic products that are now got to this moment where the classical networks and chains are ready to communicate with you. So whether you're going to give them additional value, that's going to be you're going to be just additional problem for them. Well, the problem for them for at the very beginning, of course, as it always is, but when they see the results, when they're going to see the guests coming to the shops and they would like to get the product that they have seen in a video or somewhere else, or when the people are going to be, for example, filling in the list of the products, like they want to, for example, make this like a baked sweet potato or with the brinza cheese, and they'll be searching for this very product in their shelves. That would be interesting as well. And that is something how we can provide the understanding of why the organic products are different. It's not just about the food security, but it's also about the difference in tastes, like that. So it has to be like a joint collaboration. Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's something that we need from the, because like if we're going to be only having this communication products from the marketing, it has been outlined in the, for example, research, like any communication with marketing would be about money, 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 and money. So, and you know, you can see that there's a lot of money that you'll have to spend, even if you would like to do a campaign. That's, for example, like in the end, they're going to give you a very big invoice to pay for. Well, yes, that's one of the things that you have to understand. Look, you're not signing the classical agreement. You can sign a classic agreement. You know, that's not a big difference that it makes. It seems that, like, you know, for 99%, it is harder to make any other agreement because the legal department is going to make any amendments approved. So what was important for us, for example, is to have this communication with the marketing department set out. And even without the different campaigns or discounts, you can conduct the certain activities with our customers and buyers because they will be aware already. Yes, to have other like non-financial marketing activities. Yes. So we have those cases, for example, when people have been buying, for example, our melons. And in a year after that, I understand that there is a melons that have been grown in Ukraine. Like, you know, they thought that they're buying, like, for example, imported melons, but they know that it's something that has been grown locally. Yes, thank you. Valentin, let's get back to your case. So, hello. Is it hard to work for the local producer? Is it hard to work in Ukraine as for the local producer? And as of now, what are your development plans? You know, for us as a local producers, there's no different from us than any other of local producers here. So, you know, for us as a dairy farm, so we have got to these issues of working as a processing as well, not just because we wanted it really much and it was included into our strategy from the very beginning, but because since 2014, then we have seen that the marginal margin for the raw milk was really low and we needed to find this added value somewhere. Fortunately for us, at that point of time, we have been had fast and we have found a really fast understanding with Silpo because they were searching for a mid-range producer for them, you know, not to be very small, not to be very big, but we fit into their expectations, and it was a very good story for the big fit because the key story for the small producers, as Natalia has said, is the logistics. If, for example, you only have the 2 buckets of milk, no one is going to be interested in you. So for them, it was like basically, of course, and that's we really have a lot of respect for Silpo for their traditional shops because like this kind of producers as we are basically trouble, as Mutro has said, because like it's easier to get the big milk company. It's and you know it takes just the same time for the big producer and for us that takes almost like the same time. And of course, for the big retail chain, then it's not really they're talking about the different return on the investment. It's very different. So we're really grateful for them for their project, their traditional shops, because they've started to help us as farmers there. You know, they were not looking for us as for the organic producer. They've been supporting us as an organic as this farm. So I just wanted to say that we sell our product as the farmer product. So that is how the feedback is going to be provided to the different platforms as well, and like Silpo or non-Silpo. But campaigns that we're participating in, and then we're selling our story and our product as a company that controls all of the production and processes from field till shelf, and that's an important moment, and our customers are really serious about that and they care about that. And the third aspect, that we are an organic products, and I would agree to what my colleagues have said, and that's not that much about the chains to promote their story, like you know that no one is against for them to be participating in that, but it is for us as the producers to promote it. What kind of tools we're going to be using, that will be a question for a separate discussion for sure. Speaking about the perspectives that we have, then I do believe that as of now, for example, if we take a look at the Silpo shelf, then we are in more or less the same price with the premium producers of the dairy products. So as the awareness of the customer is going to be growing, that, for example, for the very same money, they're going to have some additional benefits and additional values, for example. So I think that the perspective for growing our, increasing our sales and growing the organic share is very good. Right now, the profitability of our milks gives us the opportunity to hold back the pricing so that the pricing would be 2 times or 1.5 times more than the prices of the conventional milk. So, of course, we understand that we have the perspective of growth as local producers, and in sales, then we would like to go to the regional sales as well. So this story is only limited to the availability of the chain, for example, for the chain where we are sold and represented, and our desires and our opportunities, and for example, the opportunities and desires to develop our own shops. That would be like that. Thank you. So from what we have discussed already, and from what I have heard and what I can outline, that it's important for us to educate our customers and to get our retail and the producers together for them to join their efforts. So in your opinion, what do you think? Whether there's a joint efforts, they are two-sided? Do they have feedback? You know what I wanted to voice out as well. So when we're telling people about what the organic products are, so for a lot of people who come in there, they believe that like organics, it's some kind of a sacred product, and they have no idea how it's going to be produced by like super methods or whatever. We need to inform people more about the taste values of that. On the consumer part of it, like for example, for one customer, you know, it's enough to have like a simple poultry, you know, not for us to be advertising us. For some people, they say, no, I would like to have like a homemade poultry or a farm-made poultry. So they are going to be going to the different modes, but you will not have the guarantee, for example, from the market that this chicken has not been fed with for example, the feed that has been genetically modified, or the very same with the thing that doesn't give you the same guarantee with the things that you would buy in the shop. But the organic certification gives you the understanding that someone overlooks these processes and someone certifies all of it, the technology of feeding, the feeds, and all of the stages of production. So we have to also emphasize this gastronomic value of it. It's a different type of a product because it has a significant part of the control. It's not like it's like also been said. Okay, so providing more information for the customers about that and to tell them more about being honest with them and telling more about the producers and the product itself. Yes, I want to emphasize it once again. What we need to do is we need to maybe desacralize this understanding of what organics is, but to give more details of what kind of product it is. You know, what kind of a taste peculiarities and characteristics it has. And then I think then there's going to be a better feedback from our customers. Yes, okay, I see that we're slightly out of time already, so let us just make us very brief answers up to 30 seconds of time. Just in your point of view, what has to be done or what it is that you're ready to do in order to increase the sales of the organic products. We're thinking about the future, and I would like to ask each and every one of you to have the answer to this question in the 30 seconds, just based on your project or your responsibilities of how you're dealing with it or how you have. Let us just imagine what can be improved. You know, the thing that we're fighting for, like, for example, I have been working in my company for like 9 years, is increasing the awareness of the customers through the shop, through the producers, through the media that we can use for additional informational campaign that we can promote. Because like where it's possible and when it's being done by the taste difference, that's clear. For example, it's clear here, and we're also going to be using this leverage of the tasting. That's something that gives a certain amount of sales and something that gives its own and something that gives the opportunity for us to show the difference. When the difference is not being felt and you do not feel it straight away. So you need to have a better education included, and both for the retailers and the producers, they need to inform our guests, our customers, our buyers, why it is that this product is better, what is the difference that it makes. For example, for us as a retailer, when we're finding a new supplier and they have the organic certificate straight away, then I understand it for myself. Like, for example, okay, that will be better and easier to go through all of the procedure of signing the agreement, because the first thing that we're doing is we're going to the production line. We know if people already have the organic certificate, it already knows that, for example, organic standard was there. They have already looked at all of the production sites, and you're not expecting that something is going to be better, worse there. So it actually works faster. So, but I understand that. But in order for our customer to understand that as well, so I think that we need to work a little bit better here, not only with some kind of a local informational campaign, but also to do that at the state level, to give a better difference between the organic and non-organic, and in price, in taste, and in quality of the product itself. Valentin? You know, I'm recalling the conference of 2017 or 2018, and I recall the statistics that in Poland, they sell like $50 of organic products per person a year. And in Ukraine, there was just $1 at that moment of time. And we know that the GDP at that point of time in Poland was 2 times higher. So, you know, we still have at least 20 more dollars to grow in. But you know, but that is not about the work of every specific producer. That might be something that can be changed on the level of association or the ministries. This is something that we have to analyze. So, you know, what is happening there, for example, what is happening there in the Eastern Europe? We're not going to be speaking about Germany or France, but what's going on in the Eastern Europe as well? What's going on in Poland? For example, that they have this kind of amount of the consumption of organic products per capita, and we have that. So we should not reinvent the wheel. We should just consider all of those things again and keep it moving on as well. Thank you. Well, you know, I think that I think that what we can do, you know, with speaking about the level of the ministry, so what we can do that, for example, we can introduce in the nursery or in the primary schools or in the kindergartens, we can also use the organic products and organic nutrition plans there, so that the children would have a clearer understanding of what that is, because this is the future generation and that's about for the kids. So we have to work on that. And you know, and McDonald's, what McDonald's also grows, to grow organic
Наша
McDonald's.
задача як мережі
So for us as the chain, the main task for us is to provide this educational component as well to show our guests the value of this product and to give them more information about the producers. And an important goal for us for 2023 would be to have more producers of organic products from Ukraine and not to import the products. Yes, thank you very much. In our case, again, I will get back to Укрзалізниця case. In our case, answering your question, what we do, we do not ask people and we just giving them the organic tea. So that's actually our answer. We just do that and we just have this like the million packages of organic tea. So yes, not asking the people if they want something organic. But then I hope that some kind of an organic mass of people, I hope that there will be some result for that because the market begins with actually when people recognize you. So I think that this like the 1 million packages will give something for the markets. But speaking like, for example, from company-wise, again, increasing the markets. Well, for example, during the war, we have started our first exports. Like, for example, we have conducted the first our exports, and with the help of the organic community, we got our tea to a biofac exhibition, and we had no people to go that. And we had our two German colleagues said that this is the case during the war, and during the war we have now got our herbal tea to basically to Germany. So like we've gotten to an absolutely new market. So just keep on working. That's what I would say. There's two ways of how you can do that. The first way, okay, not the first, but one of those would be that, for example, having a clearer support from the state and a better understanding from the state. Because from what I understand in Germany itself, for quite a long period of time and they have worked in promoting the local products. So, and right now they are big fans of the local products for sure. So we need to make some certain steps, so maybe like Valentin has said, for example, just to learn from their experience as well. But we have to have a clear understanding that it's not going to have this kind of a wow effect. So it's not going to work straight away, but that's a strategy that will take like 10 years or 20 years. So it's going to be step by step that we're going to be then actually approaching this goal. So on the state level, to keep on working, to taking a look how the other countries work. For example, like they have like some if there are people who are dealing with organics, for example, how many people work with that, so on and so forth. And again, speaking about the producers themselves, yes, we're talking about the promotion, and this promotion is about this is a logo about them, let us put it this way. So this is the title that they're also promoting. And I think that associations and unions have to be interested in that. The thing that is, for example, strong in the US, for example, they hope that these associations and unions that are promoting the main ideas of organic, that because that's something that they have to do. Because raising the awareness and promoting, that's something that the unions and associations can do. Well, for us, what we see as the main direction is actually creating the offers for the organic products in Ukraine in those categories that cannot be like that doesn't have the organic products now. For example, we understand that there is the certain segment of organic products customers who are buying the cereals, the vegetables, snacks, but they cannot buy a lot of other organic products in the different product categories. So for me, I do see that as creating the organic products for the categories that I do not have the organic products yet. And from my point of view, that's going to be something that is going to be building the demand for the raw commodity as well. The farmers will be interested in growing that. And I think that the grant support is definitely going to be helping in that because it's really hard to develop and create the new category. So the support at the starting stages, that's something that's going to be very felt at the starting stages. Thank you. Thank you. So, okay, from what I have heard, that both the producers and the representatives of the chains and the categorical managers, they hear each other and they're ready to develop the market further on. And it's really inspiring because we know where to go and we have people to go there with. Thank you very much, dear colleagues, for your time. We have, we do have some questions, yes? Yes, thank you very much. First of all, I really wanted to thank all of you. So thank you very much for being here in this organic community, in this organic family. The question that has been raised multiple times today, how can we also attract the customer? And we present Police and National University with my colleague, and I just wanted to say what are the steps that we have outlined of maybe what we can do, and maybe we can offer the collaboration further on. Our university is from Zhytomyr city, and I would like to say that we are one of the priority direction for our university studies is organic, so the international project, collaborations and grants. And what is the most important, the aspect is to also to prepare the educators for the organic sector at different faculties where do have the organic production direction of how to work with the customer, or how can we maybe start, for example, from the kindergarten, as has been said. By the educational platform right now, we have more than 100 students in our rooms, and we're starting from the very beginning. For example, if we're talking about the organic products, what kind of products that is, how it's being produced.
Ми маємо дуже гарні результати. Чому? Як можна це знищити? У нас є ряд вибіркових дисциплін, і студенти мають можливість обрати, наприклад, якусь дисципліну. І що дуже приємно, останні роки вони обирають цей органічний напрямок. Тому
They choose the organic direction. So that's why our suggestion of scientists, academia, to cooperate more with producers, with associations. We conduct trainings, we conduct associations. From time to time, we go to operators of the market. And you know that in Zhytomyr we have top operators. And by the way, our graduates, they also work and produce organic milk and other products. So we'll be very grateful if there is the support of academia. So today, this person leaves his student's desk and he goes to buy that product. Do you have some program for producers to open doors? Our doors are never locked. No, I'm not talking about that. If you're talking about students, then it's an interesting approach. What I didn't have enough once in a quarter to invite producers so they can talk about their product and share information about them. So it's not that I have heard that there is this Zhytomyr cluster that you constantly have there, but if to talk about the whole Ukraine. Do you have such open classes? We have conferences, we have workshops. If we need to organize something else, then we will organize that. Okay, thank you. I agree. Okay, and this education project also is an organic for us because we can't move anywhere without it. Dear colleagues, do we have any further questions? Okay. Olena, thank you. So you can all move to your places. I'm very grateful to all members, participants of our panels. I think that we have heard very important things concerning organic product and its promotion. I would like now to announce our festive, let's say, part. I hope that we have all producers here in the audience, those who have the certificates of this Ukrainian samples. I would like to invite Marina Kosletska on behalf of Ministry of Agrarian Policy. She will hand out those awards. It's an historic moment, actually, because today we have discussed that we have eventually first organic operator certified according to the Ukrainian standard, and with those nice charts, those nice awards, we would like to commemorate them in history. So sorry, some organizational issues. So we have around 21 out of 55 producers. We have 55 awards. Among of 21, we will award now Some of them, those who did not manage to come, I would like to announce immediately, we will try to give it to you in the nearest future to send it to you. Well, you will get all these awards. So now we are just awarding, and then I will list the whole list of those 21 companies which received this Ukraine certificate. So on behalf of the ministry, I would like to say that Taras Mikolayevich delegated this very important function to me, but I also would like to say that despite the fact which number of the operator is in the list, but maybe there is no this number, but the producer is already certified, or maybe it's a transitional period, where the ministry, it is very important event when we introduce them to this register, and each of them are first for us actually. So thanks a lot. Okay, so I would like to invite the first producer, actually it is the first company, Galax Agro. Do we have the representatives of Galax Agro here? And please do not leave because we have several more things. That's also for you. And can you please give it to your colleagues? Chicken. Домашня курочка, homegrown chicken. Can you please come to us? And then we have milk also somewhere here. Organic milk will be later then. Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Please do not. Okay, Agrovest Group.
Органічний м'ясний продукт.
Organic meat products. That's to you.
Органік мілк.
Organic milk.
Будь ласка.
Please, here you go.
Так, будь ласка, Агрофіт.
Agrofit.
Арніка.
Арника.
Анастасія Білич. Прохання
Анастасия Билич. Can you please come to the hall to get your reward?
Так, давайте продовжимо поки що.
Continue so far.
Агроорганік, підійдіть, будь ласка.
Agroorganic.
Я потім роздам, я не хочу зайву суєту. Так, прохання приєднуватися.
Please
Золотий.
join the group. Золотий колос.
Залишайтеся з нами, давайте тут зберемося всі.
Let's stay with us. Let's gather here. Kucher Bogdan.
Рітер Біоагро.
Bioagro.
Деденс Агро.
Dance Agro.
І одразу Кунівське.
And immediately Невский.
Кунівське. Присутній тут? А, то, господи, я ж...
Okay, you're here. I'm already confused a little bit.
Агрофірма Теревино.
Terravino agrofirm.
Фудпак.
Так.
Мольфар Еко.
Eco.
Органік Лайф.
Organic Life.
Ягідки.
Ягідки, berries.
АГ Груп.
Group.
В'ячеслав Білик.
Білик.
Органік Оригінал.
Organic Original.
Еколісова компанія.
Лісова. Forest Company.
Микола Цвільов. А тут є. Ага. Ага, так, точно. РСН Трейд.
And Trade. Do we have here the representatives?
Так, тут у нас ще є
Okay, we have
Анастасія
Anastasia Agrosula here.
І одразу Анастасія не відходь, Граніт.
Immediately, Anastasia, do not leave us, Granite Agro.
Так, дуже дякуємо. Я також хотілося б зачекати.
Okay, thanks a lot. I would also like to read the list of others among first to 55.
Так, давайте поки що ми паралельно будемо. Я буду зачитувати, ви будете.
So let's do it simultaneously. I will read and you will and you will distribute our present. So among first certified, and we're according to Ukrainian standard, Околиця, Шоповалюк Микола, Заболотнюк В'ячеслав, Білик В'ячеслав, Петрович 2016, Янівка, Комарівці, Мельник Тетяна, Sirius, Biofarming, Цефей Еко, Діброва Farms, Диво Ягода,
Сумський національний аграрний університет.
Суми National Agrarian University, Пушкар Галина, Граніт Агро,
Несподівано прибули, тому
Лящівка, but they came here unexpectedly. We already gave it to them. Світлана Кудин, Рублівський Elevator, Грона Агро, Жива Земля, Life Earth, the Squirsh Bread Products Combinate, Organic Argo, Milan Argo. That's all. Thanks a lot.
Тоді ми зробимо спільне фото, і я тоді
So
оголошу
let's
одразу після цього
have a
завершення
joint picture, and after that we will finish our official part. And please join us at our organic feast afterwards.